fans, and welcome along to round number 4. It's the FRL Super Sprint to the Grand Finals. My name is John Wright, aka Double O Raven. It is my unbelievable pleasure to welcome another recent signing to the Ravencom's broadcasting empire. Another wonder from down under. This one, though, has got a bit of a tartan tinge to him. All the better. It's Mr. George Cook. Good morning, George. How are you?
Good morning and good evening to everyone else who's watching the stream, and yourself, of course, John. Great to be here, mate. Thank you very much.
Yeah, great to have you here. We are going to take you all through all of the action. And oh yes, there will be action from what is another absolute worldie of a circuit. It is Kyalami this evening. It is the Super Sprint to the final. The teams vying for places in the VCO Sim Grid Grand Final endurance event in November and December. But here at FRL, 7 rounds, 14 races to get through, 5 guaranteed places, 3 playoff spots, and 2 very excited commentators, myself and, as I mentioned, the wonder from down under. That is Mr. George Cook, 6 in the morning, no less. Such dedication, George.
You've got to be committed when you're a commentator. It goes far, far beyond waking up early, though, I have to admit. But Kyalami, round 4, mate, I am absolutely looking forward to this one. It's going to be brilliant. We've got 15 minutes of qualifying for you folks out there, coming up very, very soon in a couple of minutes. Then a 60-minute race, the 10-minute pit window. There are actually 2 races today, 2 60-minute races. We've got mandatory driver swaps today, of course, with the Sprint Series. And the top 10 for race 2 will be reversed in their grid order, but the finishing order from race 1 will, in fact, stand for race 2. Same pit window for the race 2 as well. Only 5 teams have been on the podium so far out of the 18 spots available, with only 2 of those teams finding the top. So in quali, so far, the Italian job, gold, 2 pole positions for them. So they're doing very well in qualifying, but not quite finding the race wins out there. Thomas Enge have taken 1 pole position, but unsurprisingly, they've been the race winners and are currently top of the tables.
Green light. Indeed they are, and it is standings that is surprisingly close despite the results. Thomas Enge are at the top. They have not been off the podium. Only 1 lowly third place. Every place else on the top 2 spots. Can confirm if you're a team manager, that's the type of form you like. The Italian job are the team in second. Rocket Simsport hot on their heels. There's a 30-point deficit between first and 10th, so you really need to keep bringing home those results in the top as we are at the halfway mark of the season. VDES, we've seen some great drives from them in McLarens and the Mercedes this season. They're forced Team Ballas in 5th. It's 2 SE Sports that are in 6th, and my daughter's favourite racing team, Panda Esports, although bring back the Mercedes livery, not quite as good on the Lambo, I don't think. PLR Esports are in 8th, Slovakia Racing Esports in 9th, and Simply Race Esports in 10th, and in 11th, thankfully George has taken over because for some reason I can't pronounce RNL Roar. Sorry, George.
You
take
can't.
Over, please. No.
That's all good. That's RNL Raw. Will be taking P11 at the moment. Yeah, there we go. Raw. I mean, yeah, no, you just do it. By the way, that Panda Esports team, I love the name. I love the old library they ran. Absolutely brilliant. Looking forward to seeing what they're putting out today. As we said, P11 RNL Raw. Then we've got P12 Petrol Aficionados. That's a great team name there, sitting on 329 points. P13 in the standings, Fun Sim Racing, and then P14 in the standings, Tire Sim Racing Esports. Then we've got NCR Esports in P15, P16, Simply Race Esports X ASR, great British team on 298 points. In P17, it's one of the FRL teams. I think that we've got 3 or 4 of them in the grid actually in P17. P18 goes to the second Italian job team, the Silver team. P19, the Absolute Motorsport Acelith. Or Acelith, I'm not quite sure exactly.
Acelith, yep. Steering wheel designers.
See, you help me, I help you. That's how it goes, John. And then rounding out the top 20 there, it is Big Brain Racing Team from Great Britain on 257 points.
Indeed it is, yeah. And just to confirm how much help George has been to me in my comedy career, he's actually helped me correctly enunciate the track in Australia, I now understand that it is Mount Panorama. The cars are out on track qualifying. I'm not doing the Bathurst thing. No. The cars that are out qualifying is Kyalami, built before even I was a child, contrary to popular belief, way back in 1961. This track is an absolute personal favourite of mine, and judging by the conditions tonight, we really are going to find out why, George. Kyalami, you and I both have exactly the same feelings on this track. It is amazing.
It is a top-tier racing track. It's the home of South African motorsports. It's gone through so many iterations, so many different series in its time since 1961. We've had Formula One here. We've had the old motorbike, the World Series here as well. We've got track corners that have got possibly the best names out there in the world. Track corners like Barbecue, the Kink, Mineshaft. The corner names. It's a commentator's dream. But also the track is just beautiful and complicated. It's tricky for a lot of cars out there. It's just going to make things very, very interesting. And one little fact here, or a couple of little facts here, the track actually almost disappeared, John. It almost disappeared. They sold it, and almost no one bidded on it, except for this chap called Toby Venter, who decided to take it on. He resurfaced the track, made it FIA Grade 2, which is why we see motorsports happening there to the modern day. The track was slightly shortened and slightly extended in some areas, made it a little bit more narrow. And here's another little fact. The King, which was actually originally down the back straight up the hill, now actually moved in 5 iterations of this track. It's moved 5 times. Now it's part of the main pit straight. And it is literally a kink now, thank goodness.
Well, and 5 times can confirm. That is even more times than your average sim racer has to change socks on ACC during a sim race, during an endurance races. It gets cosy. But yeah, it's an absolutely incredible track. Great history, and as George was saying, much like Imola as well, if it wasn't for the local mayor of Imola, the track would have ceased to exist. It even went bankrupt again after the mayor brought it over, and there was another bailout package. Kyalami, much the same, and we can only be eternally grateful to Mr. Venter and his conglomerate for saving this track. I just can't talk highly enough of it. It is very, very, very good, and we've already got some very, very, very good times. Absolute motorsport asolith. Not finishing in this competition where I would expect to see them so far over the piece, but Leonardo Pisoni out in my beloved Ferrari at 1 minute 40.5, only a tenth and a half ahead of the camera that's currently having an epileptic fit. There we go. Jeffrey Ritchie for Thomas Eng in second, and Eric Delfant, one of the stars of the Mount Panorama round. Almost did it there to stop himself. What an effect you have on me, George.
Well done, there you go. You're getting there.
I am learning. And Gornikov, VDES Junior, I said it during the opening as well. They are good in the McLaren, they're good in the Mercedes, and they're decent in qualifying too. 4th position at the minute, Rafael Malo in 5th there, driving for SRE Rocket Simsport. In this one, of course, also drives for Brabham Rock Cops for the Fun Sim Racing team. Their livery hasn't worked. Apologies as well to anyone watching. There is an issue at the moment ongoing with the livery provider, shall we say. It's an automated service. They're having some issues in the background, so not all the liveries are showing, but we've been told that something will be in place to fix it by Monday, I believe. So once that comes past, we will get all the beautiful, because believe me, I am as heartbroken as the teams are that these liveries don't work, because I've spent 4 minutes of my life looking at how livery's done and realised that is a rabbit hole I have neither the comprehension nor time to go tumbling down. So it's always good to give the livery creators a bit of respect and airtime as well, because they do. You do, John. You see some absolute crackers on here. The creativity of our fellow man and womankind is it's to be admired.
Yeah, it's one of those things when you get out on track with a great livery. It's got your team colours on it. It's really well designed, and the car looks, violent and angry, and that's what these cars are. The GT3 class. So this is, got 600-700 brake horsepower here in these cars. They're beautiful on their own. If they were just completely blank, they'd be beautiful. But when you add a livery, it just adds something special to it, I'll tell you. And I'm in the same boat as you, John. I've tried my hand, I've tried Blender, I've tried Photoshop, I've tried all of that. No, I've got zero creativity when it comes to liveries. So, it's a double-edged sword, of course, for us, because, when you see a livery on track, you recognize it, you know what it is, you know which car, which team, and it's a good way to advertise for the team as well. So, yeah, shame that the Awesome Sim Racing thing is having a few technical problems at the moment, but, we continue on nonetheless, and I just want to make a note as well. Currently, the top 10 only separated by 0.507 of a second, those times dropping by Pisoni. And I'm not surprised to see something other than a McLaren up there on the top of the grid at the moment. The McLarens are a very tricky car to get right at a circuit like Kyalami. It's got a lot of work you've got to do on the rear suspension, rear bump rates, the ARBs. It's all got to work really perfectly in harmony, whereas with the 296 and a few other cars like the AMG, and another notable one is the BMW, actually. I'm not sure we've got any on grid. But those cars seem to be a lot more stable at this sort of track. They just sort of have a bit more of a natural tendency to feel quite nice here at Kyalami. But I have noticed personally, and unfortunately I'm a little bit biased, folks, because I am a McLaren 720S Evo driver, a little bit biased, and I had a pretty bad time out of Kyalami a few weeks ago. So it's definitely a little bit of bias going on.
That will be when your Scottish race engineer led you up the garden path with your fuel.
That's right. Yeah,
what a guy! What a
that.
clown he was! Goodness gracious! I hope you banned
I
him
don't think
from
I'll
your
ever
channel.
forget that.
No.
He's been banned. We've timed him out for about 3 years, and we'll see him at some point, maybe. It was all good. It all worked out. It's just that we all got confused about what was the fuel. Do we fuel up 30 litres or do we go to 30 litres? Anyway.
It was a good fun race though, but yeah, you have got a lot more racing experience than me, and as you're saying, you are a McLaren driver yourself, so you can testify to the issues that the McLaren drivers are going to be having around here. But it does, we're looking at this now, they've actually extended, it's now 12 drivers within half a second, George. 2 of them, in fact 3 of them have almost gone identical times. 5th, 6th and 7th identical times, 8th, 9th and 10th identical time, 11th and 12th identical time, 17th, 18th and 19th have set identical times, 21st and 22nd, guess what? Identical times. It does not get it. This is a course for racing on. It's almost like Suzuka way back in, okay. Formula 1 buffs in the chat. What year was it? The 3 drivers, including Ayrton Senna, hit exactly the same qualifying time. 1 minute 20.072, I believe, was the time. 027. 1 minute 20.0.
Yeah, I think I went 03, I think it was. Yeah, I do remember that. That was unbelievable. To get within even thousandths of a second of each other, even a tenth, the difference between Fante and Pisoni at the moment, that is close on track. There's nothing in that. I'm looking at the timing sheets here. The deltas at the moment are hovering only at 0.1 of a second in terms of deltas between these guys. So they're only finding tenths out there. They're already setting basically their maximum pace. And to be that close on grid, it's just brilliant to see. This is the kind of qualifying absolutely love to see. And of course, with the quality of drivers and teams here today, absolutely no surprise at all.
Yeah, none whatsoever. Right through the field, the times are coming in thick and fast. Having a look at this, I'd have qualified at the minute. Well, I'd be 21st.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I'm actually okay with that.
In this field, mate, being last in this field. Yeah, being last in this field is no shame. The worst time at the moment is James Williams got 143.1 out there currently, 142.4 for Ian Thompson. We've got Alan Brown, who's going faster at the moment by 0.3 of a second, 142.3. So, even those times, they're not bad at all. I've just seen the 7th fly off turn 1, the Rocket Sim Sports McLaren there. He's just gone straight back to the pits, so that was quite a moment he had there. But it's not any time that's underneath a 42 is in the respectable area. It really is. The 40s here, it's so difficult to hook up a good lap. The car is constantly turning wherever you're going. corners like Sunset, you never seem to get right. At the top of the hill as well, Leacock never seem to get it right. So it's just very tricky to put everything together.
It is, and some phenomenally high speed parts to the circuit as well. We're on board with Leonardo Pisoni at the minute, the pole sitter down the mineshaft. The car here, do you lower it so that it bottoms out down here? Do you save it bottoming out and lose a tenth along the straight or down through the S's? Some of the juggling acts that George was talking about in the opening when he was mentioning bump rates and things fixed on the McLaren. This track definitely can benefit you if you've got a setup that's absolutely dialed in. But to be fair, even if you don't, you can still hook up a pretty decent lap round here. I haven't spent a lot of time in the 296 of this course, but that's something that I will be changing as soon as the broadcast finishes tonight, watching Pisoni fly around there. Although it'll be another night of disappointment as I struggle to get back into the 41s and think, yeah, why did he even bother? But
no, you'll enjoy it. I'll vouch for the 296 of Kyalami. It's a fantastic car around here. But you know, the Mercedes as well. It's got a really lovely car. It's smooth over the. Ooh, that was very close for Sinekin in the AMG.
Did you see the time?
Hundredths of a second.
Yeah.
That is very close. Wow. We're going to keep an eye on Bill Sinekin at the moment. Finish driver of Kyalami Sports Fungus Racing 383 car. Lovely little livery there. And just noting a couple of things in chat as well. Marjan asking that we did not sync liveries. Unfortunately, the livery tool is having some issues, so it's not us not syncing liveries. We've been trying all morning, sad to say. So they've been having a technical glitch, hopefully fixed by Monday. And we've got another comment as well. McLaren meant to be off pace here, but at least 8 SRO people in the Macca. Will we notice? I think we will. And you can tell by the timing sheets right now, we've currently in the top 10. We've got 2 Lamborghinis, 1 Audi, 1 Mercedes, and 1 Ferrari. So that's half of the top 10. You know, that's we were not in a McLaren right now.
Half of the field, or over half of the field, are within half a second of pole. 15 cars.
Absolutely love to see it. And by the way, we are coming up to the end of qualifying. We've got 5 seconds to go in the official thing, so we will be seeing the last lap times go in. I've been keeping an eye on Jeffrey Ritchie of Thomas Eng Racing, and unfortunately for him, he is in the pit and will not be completing any of the laps. But Sony is currently up on his time by just under 0.2 of a second.
Yep, he's looking to extend his gap out there. There's a couple of, oh no, Santo was up, he's invalidated his lap, he's back in the pits. Gornikov, all he needs is a 10.5. Delfante, a 10th. He's done a 1 minute 40.4 and he finds himself in 3rd place at Kyalami.
And just to make things more exciting, we've got both Godnikov, thank you very much. I'm going to need help with some of these European names. Me being from down under, we have simple names down here. We keep it very simple. But,
G'day, Mick.
My favourite corner here is barbecue. You can imagine why. But nonetheless, the 410 car there, he's up on his time. We've got Sinkanen, the Finnish driver we were talking about just before. Sinkinen, thank you. Okay, he's 0.3 of a second up. He's just gone purple in Sector 2. He could be on to take pole here because Pisoni is not gaining any more time on track as it stands right now. This is going to be fast and furious across the line for P1.
Was he dropped out of the last corner? I think he's lost that 10th. He's going to cross the line. Pisoni suddenly 3/10 up. Something at the bottom of the mine shaft.
No, he's taken it.
Oh, he has taken it. 33 hundredths right at...
Oh! Yeah,
that's insane.
Pisoni lost it at the last corner. He was 0.3 of a second up, but then Sinkinen, he just took it. He took it right at the end there. It was a beautiful way to end the lap. He did lose a bit of time at the last corner, but crikey. So that's still Fante took Sector 2 best there. Purple, Pisoni took Sector 1, and Sinkinen took Sector 3. And if I'm not mistaken there, the top 3, no McLarens in sight.
Indeed, Mercedes, not even a middle engine rear wheel dominance here. We've got a Mercedes on the top spot at the halfway mark of the season. A new team has found their way to the top of pole position, and it is the Finnish driver Sinkinen and Crook that have got themselves that top spot. PLR on a charge, an absolute motorsport as well. What a move they've made. This competition really is just coming to life. Remy Loesch up to third, the Gornikov in fourth, and as George pointed out there, Delphant and Delia for the ITJ Setups team taking purple sector 2, only managing 5th on the grid, ahead of Richie and Mattia De Campo. Then it's Malo and Klassen on row 4 with Veldman and Thompson, Santo and Rubia, 9th and Polovchuk and Yezdetsky, whose name I'm getting wrong in multiple competitions, my apologies. But yeah, Senatori and Delmasian and Zupanchik. We've got Anufriev and Zoldatov ahead of Naitmanen and Stamkovic. Bilawander and Chowdhury in 15th with Rock Cops and Mitya Miladanovic for Fun Sim Racing in 16th. Pullian Hill for SR in the BMW in 17th. So yeah, there you were asking about BMWs earlier, George. We've got two. The best one qualified 17th, and I can tell you Pullian Hill are quick. Goodway and Osorio in the Lambo. Let's keep the times up. Where do we get to there? Goodway and Osorio for the Formula Racing League Arrive and Drive Lamborghini. Classens and Warby in 19th. Pauly and Haleman out in the McLaren as well, 20th position. Feltham and Plaister, Brown and Robinson, Gibbons and Firth, Nikinen and Van Eck in 24th. Thompson and Gedman leading a trio of FRL cars, Williams and Broth, and Gibbons and Michael Firth. Floppy Fox bringing up the rear of the field. But yeah, again, half a second separating 15 cars, George.
Yeah, unbelievably close times here. It just shows that those McLaren teams, they put in a lot of work to be competitive here, because I can tell you, very tricky to be in the 40s for any of the McLaren teams. So not the starts of the day that the likes of Thomas Eng Sim Racing and SRE Rocket Sim Sport I would be looking for. I'm just down the grid, John. Is the Italian Job Gold team? Are they not? I don't think they might not be in here today if I'm looking at the correct timing sheet.
You're correct, actually. I did wonder that myself. I was having a look through to see if they'd maybe got a couple of new drivers in, but you're right. The Italian Job car that is in the hunt are not racing today. Now, there is obviously, that might be that they're involved in another competition. It could also be, and there is, as everybody knows, this is, we're looking for entry here into the VCO SimGrid Grand Final. It takes place in November and December. The top three in this championship will get themselves a GT3 car. 4th and 5th will get a GT4 car in the final. And then 6th, 7th and 8th will go into a playoff in October. Now, teams can enter as many cars as they like in as many of the 10 entry events as they wish, but only 2 cars per team can make it into the final, one in a GT3 and one in a GT4. So there has been chess being played in the background with some of the teams trying to get maybe another car through, or looking to get a GT4 specialist into the final behind the wheel of a GT4 car. So it could well be that it is actually a tactical move, because they do have another team in the hunt as well. So it could be a tactical move. It could just be that they're not able to attend this evening, but certainly I've presided over a fair few of the races in this competition so far. So, and yeah, definitely seen, as I say, a bit of chess going on in the background, George. Because as much as drivers are trying to win this competition, it is all about those places in that big final at the end of the year.
Yeah, that's right, and it's almost like three-dimensional chess to me, just the amount of thought that's going into the strategy. And of course, just a final word before we round the final corners, the cars are lined up. Big day for PLR Esports, Absolute Motorsport Asalith, and we've got Panda Esport Racing in P3, VDS Junior Esports, ITG Setups, and then of course a big fight back can happen from Thomas Eng, and in P7 SRE Rocket Sim Sport. Over to you, John, for the start.
Here we go then, 1 hour of racing, 10-minute pit window for the driver swaps, and a race 2 still to come. There goes the start line, there goes the green lights, it's foot down, it's flat out, and it is absolutely flat out by the Mercedes and the Lamborghini. The Lamborghini of Remy Lowe's giving Gornikov a real run for his money, and giving Pisoni a run for his money as well, and the Ferrari's going to lose it big time here. He's going to find himself on the outside of a 3 wide. Can he carry the momentum to keep himself going up the hill? I don't think he will. Yes, he actually has. That is incredible. Not as incredible as the start that Sinkinen has got, though. He has flown away off the start. In the background there, Delphante and Jeffrey Ritchie going at it straight from the start of the race. We've seen this the entirety of Bathurst, and they're going at it again. There is a 5 squadron of cars being closely followed by Rafael Malo, who we can't jump on board because the time in Dela is quickly updating. But through Sunset, one of the corners that George named as being very tricky, it's much easier to get that corner wrong than it is right. The Mercedes has absolutely got everything right off the start. Sinkinen absolutely flying, leaving the rest of the field standing. Remy Loesch up to second, and Gornikov in third. It's Pisoni down to fourth, Jeffrey Ritchie in fifth, with Delphante in sixth, Rafael Malo now in seventh. Veldman was in pole position at one point, now in 8th place. Danny Santo, who I believe, and that's a touch at the top of the mine shaft. That's Senatore and Anya Friev that have come together there. And in fact, it's Blaise Mation was the Porsche, it was the wrong way round. He is going to get swallowed up by Yevgeny Nietman down the hill. And speaking of hills, that is David Hill in the background as well for SRE. And that is a ridiculous send. I'm going to call that exactly as I saw it. That is a complete miss of the brakes there.
Yeah, unfortunately that squeezed on the exit as well by the 2 cars surrounding him, so sandwiched in. Crocodile great for sends like that, but not quite in that manner. That was just a bit too ambitious. But a dream start for Loesch in the Panda Esport Racing Lamborghini. The 159 car has jumped a position already on the 410 McLaren, so great start from him. And as you mentioned before, the Ferrari has just disappeared from all of that, so very unfortunate there. But Sinkinen will lead us away for lap 2, looking very, very solid in that Mercedes at the moment. We've got the 410 car as well, looking strong. A pretty good start there for the Thomas N Sim Racing guys as well, up into 5th place from 6th. Nico Veldman, of course, as you mentioned before, just dropping a little bit, unfortunately for him, but the Audi is going to be strong, I think, in the latter half of this race. Of course, once the pit stops start happening, tyre change, driver swap, refueling, all has to happen, so the cars are light at the moment. Malho, though, has got a little bit of work to do in the background. Got to keep pushing, but Ritchie is now right on the back of Delphante. It's going to be a McLaren battle up the hill.
Yeah, I'm not sure where to look here. We've got, as you mentioned there, Malo got some work to do, and he's got some work to do defending from Danny Santo in the Tyre Sim Racing eSports car. And he's being hurried along by the Team Ballas McLaren. Pavlo Polovchuk absolutely flying there, but as you mentioned as well, up at the front we've got Jeffrey Ritchie, Eric Delphante. I can tell you over the series these two have had phenomenal battles. He's going for it up the inside, and Gavi, there's a bit of contact on the exit. He's run wide ever so slightly, but Ritchie has continued on through. Veldman in the background. The Audi, is he going to prosper at the end of the stint because of the rest of the cars wearing away, or at the start of the stint because the other cars are getting themselves too involved? We're going to find out very quickly. Ritchie was able to get them moved on there. There was a bit of contact on the exit. Absolutely no love lost between the drivers out there. As we see Delphante having to go extra defensive then. The Audi, the third driver in the equation, he's always the best position, George. And the Audi has sailed on through turn number 1. Or Huzzy, Delphante fighting straight back.
Yeah, just didn't have the grip. The Audi on the exit of the quarter just went a little bit
he's round!
shallow.
Remy Loesch is round. Remy Loesch.
He's reversed into the wall as well. Oh dear. Okay. Yes, the Lamborghini has had a major issue there. And actually he's dropped down below Pisoni, who has been dropped all the way to P15 now. So a massive incident earlier on. We're just having a look at the replay now. Just gets right on the back of the McLaren there, and then here we go. Just very eager up the inside, clips the curb and goes round at Barbecue there. So yeah, that's super unfortunate for him. He was in P2 and having a solid race, and now that race is going to be much harder to do.
Yeah, it's not going to be a lot harder for Jeffrey Ritchie and Thomas. You want to talk about a solid start and ill wind blowing northeast some good? Who's in P now? It's Jeffrey Ritchie and Thomas Eng Sim Racing. They've got 4 seconds to make up to Veal sinking in up there at the front in the fungus race. They're certainly not growing like fungus up at the front. He is absolutely flying like something more rampant than fungus.
Yeah, it's right.
Yeah, a virus soaked in, but I'll leave it.
Yeah, well, I mean, let's not get flashback to the last one. I said he's not the time for that. But I've just been looking around the field as well. Sony's had some real issues trying to get past traffic. This is one of the hardest things with Kyalami when you know you've got a lot more pace than those around you in that area. He's up to P13 now, but he's actually gone for another spin. He's got a Loesch behind him in the Mad Eastport Banner Racing. But we've also had a big bit of contact with some like Feltman, James Williams and such in the back. Nateman as well has moved all the way back. He's now sitting in the pits. Cops in the pits as well. Rock no. Cops. So Fun Sim Racing not having a fun time, and Simply Race Esports having a very complicated time in a very damaged Lamborghini sitting in the pit at the moment. But Richie, great stuff. And the fastest lap, Sinkinen, 140.9 already in the race. That is great stuff to begin a race, and he's just flying away. He's 4.5 seconds down the road from Jeffrey Ritchie. I was going to mention this earlier as well. You know, there's a real big difference between having qualifying pace at a place like this where the car pop really does come into practice. That's balance of performance for anyone who doesn't know. But in the race, you know, your racecraft is what's really going to get you positioned. Not necessarily about your ultimate pace. But Jeffrey Ritchie at the moment, he is leading a big train of McLarens with an Audi in tow and a Lamborghini.
Indeed, yeah. I was just having a quick read of the chart there as I'm trying just wrap my head around how close these drivers are. What a start it's been. Some big winners and losers. We missed what happened to Pisoni. Oh, well, we kind of saw what happened to him. The Lamborghini spun. He took avoidant action and dropped down. We've got PLR Greg in the chat screaming, "Let's go PLR." Yes, they are going. Almost a second a lap they're making on the field at the minute. And when you look at the pace of the field, that is an impressive feat. Midnight in the chat, Double Raven, you're everywhere, my man. So are you, in fact, live right now on FRL's sister channel for ACC. So remember, guys and gals at home, make sure you give FRL all the follows. They've got 4 dedicated ACC channels. That's right, 4 dedicated channels for ACC. Or 3, there's 1 for ACC, there's 2 for PlayStation 5 and 1 for ACC. And everything gets back catalogued on YouTube as well. So make sure you get onto YouTube. You can catch up with all the races. Not being biased, but the races that we've had in this competition so far, they're absolutely 100% worth your time. Money back guarantee. So get yourself onto YouTube, make sure you give them a follow. And of course the PS5 League, the Taco Tuesday on this evening. They are up against the VCO SimGrid events, but still pulling some great numbers. So it's good to get in the King D. He's up. The Audi's going to get a good look there as well, George. I'm not sure. Sorry, mate. What are you keeping an eye on at the moment, bud? Where do we even look?
It is that battle at the moment because Del Fante and the 410 car. I'm not even going to try. It's the 410 car now for me. Apologies to those in the 410 car, and my pronunciation at 6 in the morning is not great. But the battle between them really good at the moment. We had Del Fante nearly take out the 410 car, and that was just running a little bit shallow over the hill. Very difficult corner to get right up there. But yes, no, you said you're biased. The Sprint Series has some great racing. It's very true, but I'm also biased. The GT3 Masters and Light Club also been having some fantastic races. They're following the same calendar as the Sprint Series, and it's been brilliant. In fact, all the races across this calendar so far that has been shared, the shared calendar, have been absolutely fantastic. FRL and the drivers and teams involved, just absolutely right at the tippy top, really premier stuff, and they're creating some excellent races for us. I always said, you know, commentator's job is easy when the racing is good, and that's what we're seeing today once again. And the Mercedes of Sinkinen right now, the 383 car for PLR, just absolutely brilliant. 5-second penalty for Mason there in the 56, the Porsche driver, causing a collision earlier on in the race. No real surprise there. 15-second penalty for a 245 car. So the stewards starting to click their pens a little bit now and hand out some, I suppose, punishment or justice, depending on which team you're in. But yes, no, at the moment, Sinkinen just flying away with it. Mercedes so comfortable. Richie nearly got a little bit wide there into Learcop at the top of the hill, but manages to hold on to it. And just another note, Malho's still holding on to the back of Belbin, so doing a very, very good job back there for Rocket Sim Sport. Yeah, it's we've got a few battles on the track at the moment. This is the main battle that we're on board with right now, P2 down to about P8, I believe. And then further down the field, as we just put down, Alan Brown having a nice little fight with Goodway and Feldman as well. So, yeah, some good racing at the moment. The pit window is now open, so 10 minutes into this race. Your top 10.
No, sorry, no,
right
the pit window's 10 minutes bang in the middle of the race.
Oh, my fault. My fault.
Yeah. So it's in the middle, so it's 35 to 25.
Yeah, I see, and that would explain why the driver stint timer is set to don't need one, because they've set the pit stop window to be that size. So that's good. That's good to know. Thank you for that. So just running through your top 10 at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. Vil Sinkinen for PLR is currently in the lead of the race, and then we've got Jeffrey Ritchie for Tomas Enge at the moment in P2, then Igor Gorodonov in P3, Del Fante in P4, Feldman in P5, we've got Rafael Malho in P6, P7 is Danny Santo, Anufriev in P8 in the number 911 car. Well, I don't think he's in the 911, he's in a McLaren, turns out. And then P9 is Pavlo Polovichok in the 141 car, and then rounding out your top 10 is Vincenzo Senatore.
Yeah, the Guerrilla Racing team, they're getting themselves a bit of a reputation, like RTO in my books. They can make up places in the races, that's for sure. They've been caught, I've seen them in a couple of races get caught up in a bit of trouble, but they've always managed to make their way back. They're currently sitting in that 10th place, Mason just outside the top 10, but he does have David Hill closing in very handily in the BMW. Currently sitting in 12th, he did have to take some avoiding action on lap 1, but has recovered for that. The time suggests his tyres not overly affected, so with that 5-second penalty, Mason certainly under threat. And I would say before... Oh, big news just in. Jeffrey Ritchie, Thomas Eng Sim Racing, 15-second penalty for causing a collision. Now, we did see himself and Delfant exchange wing mirrors a couple of times in the opening laps, so Ritchie and the team will be stationary for an extra 15 seconds in that pit stop, and a quick bit of maths will tell you that means he's going to lose a lot of places, because there's not 15 seconds separating a whole lot of the field, as another penalty comes in as well for car number 2, Yevgeny Nietman. We were kind of expecting that one a bit, George. It was a bit overly sandy at the bottom of the mineshaft. He nowhere near made the corner on exit, and potentially dodged a bit of a bullet there with only 10 seconds from the stewards.
Yeah, that's right. It's like I said, I mean, we've said it a couple of times now with Kyalami. It's close quarters. It's high octane. It's very, very dodgy on the car. The car's rear end doesn't want to stay in a straight line at all. Belbin at the moment still holding on to this pack currently. For Sony now down in P13. He's got Losh in the Mad Panda Esports Racing, kind of sitting more or less behind them, but a little bit down the road. The Sony, though, has got a big penalty. So, that's a 10-second penalty for him. So I wonder if it's he was involved in some of the contact as well. But penalties being handed out all across the grid now, which is always going to be interesting at the end of the day. Unfortunately for Thomas Enge Racing, that 15-second at the top of the grid is going to easily pop them right out of contention for a podium position. Although after 46 minutes on a track like this, you might find that there's some space and some gaps open up, but with the quality of races around Ritchie and the Thomas Enge team, it's going to be a really, really hard job for them. They're going to have to do a lot of work. They're currently leading the battle pack of 3 McLaren, followed by Feldman, the Audi, Senatore back here in the Lamborghini, the 69 car, I believe that is, only 0.5 of a second behind Polovchuk. And looking down the field as well, nice little battle going on here. One of the BMWs. I do like the BMW. This track, it should be maybe a little bit more competitive than this, but Alan Brown at the helm of this car currently, and Felton is a little bit further behind, but he's fighting now with Cloudery and Paulie. And Paulie, of course, got that big penalty. So, This is going to switch up later in the race as well. But just looking at my timing sheets, mate, at the moment, big winners at the moment, Jeffrey Ritchie, although that is going to evaporate rapidly. Anufriev in the 911 car, up 5 positions on his start position. David Hill up 5. Pisoni and Losh down 11, although Pisoni's just gotten past Hill for P12. And then you've got the likes of Claessens and Orley, the 532 car, the 245 car, up 4 positions as well in the background, P21. Ian Thompson, who did start right down the back of the grid, up 4 positions, and unfortunately for Copps and Nateman, they are, well, Copps is sitting in pit, and Nateman has got a massive penalty to deal with late in this race.
He does indeed, yeah. Ian Thompson as well can confirm his drive even better. If you have a look at the, there is a massive amount of separation. Oh, right on that curb. That's a brave place to put the Ferrari up the hill. As a Ferrari driver, I can't confirm Gibbons there.
Yeah, that's courage. Yeah, that's courage.
Yeah, I'm tempted because his surname's Gibbons to do a staying alive joke, but I've never been a big BG's fan, so I'm not really sure how I feel about doing that. We'll wait and see. But yeah, certainly Thompson, a lot of separation between the front bumper and the bonnet there. That doesn't do your aerodynamics any good at all. Can confirm I've done many a lap with my car looking like that, and it does make you slower.
Yes, it's not an aerodynamic feature, everyone. It's an incident. It doesn't help the car, sadly.
No, it's not.
It's a little bit more downforce at the front, but not the right kind of downforce.
Exactly. Another 15-second penalty for car 555. That's hell. 30-second penalty for David Hill in the SRE BMW.
Yeah, I was actually about to mention this because Hill, about 4 or 5 corners ago, I think it was in Barbecue or thereabouts, maybe in Sunset, had a big off-track excursion, and he might have been rolled up into contact there, maybe a bad rejoin. I didn't quite catch it, but 30 seconds of penalties. Oh dear, oh dear. Yeah, when did you say the pit window opens again? Because I think they're going to be looking for that.
Yeah, not soon enough for the BMW team. That is for sure. Smiley is in the chat. Pisoni last, did you see him die? I think we did kind of catch sight of it in the background. I think I was concentrating on the Lamborghini spinning and Pisoni, but I think it might have been Pisoni that tapped him on the rear end, which is why Pisoni has got the 10 seconds. But there will be a sheet once James Williams hands over the wheel of the car. You will get full access to the spreadsheet, which shows the penalty, the incident, what lap number, and what the outcome was. So yeah, we can see all that. A heron. Godspeed, Sinkinen and Crook, they've got some kind of speed. They're 5.5 seconds ahead of Jeffrey Ritchie, Igor Ogornikov, Eric Delfant, Nico Veldman, Rafael Malo, Danny Santo, Vasily Anufriev, Pavlo Polovchuk and Vincenzo Senatore. Every one of them could be a race winner. Remy Loesch is in 14th position, another race winner out on the track, of course. And
Senatore's just gone for a spin. Sorry to interrupt, John. Senatore's just gone for a massive spin. They're at Clubhouse Bend and is falling down the grid at the moment. So he had a bit of an issue there, unfortunately, for him.
Yeah, we'll jump back on board and have a quick look at the replay. So there he is coming into Sunset. Nice bit of curb on the bend. No, Kyalami, he got out okay there. Oh no. Rear end of Lamborghini say bye-bye.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
you mentioned this, George. It's exactly what happens at this track.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you're trying to. These corners are such that you're maximising opening them. There's not many corners here that you go in shallow or go in particularly deep, except for maybe Leocop and Crocodile. Those are probably the only 2 corners that you really target with a sort of alternative apex. So unfortunately, that means that there's a lot of load going through the rear end of the car. And the more rear end you put in, unfortunately, you're going to end up with some problems. But it's also the way that they set up these cars. So you set up the cars with lots of rear bump range. Means the rear end's usually fairly stiff, and that means if you run a curve, it is going to be game over for you, and you are going to go for a spin, especially when you put the power down on track. Sony another 5-second penalty there, and Senatore has dropped, unfortunately, below them. So Sony is almost back in the top 10. Loesch was not. He's actually sitting down there in P14 as a lovely onboard shots there. I'm just going to John, I'm going to quickly jump back in some of my replays. I'm just going to see if I can catch that initial incident earlier on. So I'll let you know if I find it.
Yeah, sure. Have a look, George. Plenty of time to do so. We've got 10 minutes until the pit window opens. Rob G. Barker in the chat. How you doing? He's lurking practice session about 10. Because of course Rob, he does some Tuesday night racing as well on Gran Turismo 7. If that is your jam, give him a right click and a follow. It's the final of his series this evening. So good luck with your racing tonight, Rob. Fingers crossed, bring home that championship. But cheers for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for lurking, Rob. And Midnight as well. I mentioned that Midnight was broadcasting on another channel at the moment for FRL as well. Rob G. Barker, another one of the broadcasters with myself and George and Midnight Luke and of course Sean Madden as well, the lead commentator for Attack Tuesday Tier 2 and a couple other things as well. So yeah, great to see Rob supporting the rest of the team and the racing here at FRL. It's all phenomenal. This field is incredible. Wheel Sinking for PLR Esports is the cream of the crop at the moment. We are 21 minutes in. He's getting a bit more love in the chat. It's going to be another one of these race wins that gets very little camera time, unfortunately, because he does have such a monumental gap over the rest of the field, and the rest of the field are so monumentally close. Veltman now 2 seconds down on 4th place with Rafael Malo, Dani Santo and Vasily Anyufriev still very firmly on his rear spoiler. We've got Remy Loesch still looking to recover in 14th place, but he has managed to catch up to the back of David Hill. With a big penalty there for Hill as well, so that's a position they're going to get in the pits anyway. The yellow submarine car, even their livery's not worked this week. Please, that's awesome sim racing, please get it working again soon. Thank you, please.
Please be awesome. Please be awesome. These switches are not awesome. This is very much the opposite of what they're called, sadly. But yeah, it's it is what it is. At the end of the day, there's not much, unfortunately, that we can do on our side of things to fix it. So. We'll just have to spend this week. Well, next week. We'll look forward to the live reads next week.
Yes. Yes, we will.
John, I've got some information for yourself and for everyone in the chat. And by the way, welcome into everyone who is in the grandstand watching in currently. Series here at FRL for the VCO Grand Finals. Right, this is lap 1, sorry. Over at Clubhouse Bends, and this was out of Sunset. We had Sony and Jeffrey Ritchie side by side through there, and then through Clubhouse on the exit, Sony was definitely ahead, but a slight move back in, and Ritchie was right there and tapped the end of him. That's what spun for Sony round, and that's why Jeffrey Ritchie has a 15-second penalty on lap 1.
Right, okay, so there we go then. It was a lap 1 coming together between Ritchie and Sony. Yeah, full elbows out, and this is one of the things I can't believe I didn't say it at the start. It's one of a lot of corners again. Let me talk about corner 1 politics. Monza, it's nothing. Suzuka, that is a real test of turn 1. That is a real test of turn 1 right there. And also, but yeah, turn 1 at Kyalami, it invites you in 5 wide, knowing full well that you're going to be lucky to get 2 wide on the way out. It is just, yeah, so inviting to look for a move on the way in, and certainly lap 1 on the way through Sunset as well. Definitely look to get brave. Thank you. We've had a couple of follow notifications pop up there as well. Unfortunately, they're not popping up in the chat because I forgot to ask James to switch the button, so that one was on me, but thankfully the notifications are up on screen, so thank you for the follows too. There's another one, and because I don't have my glasses on, I can't read that.
Oh, well, unfortunately I can't see it either, so we're out of information. Oh, this is a commentator's nightmare. We can't access the information. We have no... I'm just no, it's good to see everyone in chat though, so welcome in. Brilliant couple of races for you tonight. 36 minutes ago in race 1. We've got race 2 coming up after this. With a little bit of a 15-minute break as an intermission between the 2 races.
Yeah, it won't be quite as long as 15 minutes. It's scheduled for 15 minutes on the calendar, but no, but it usually takes 5 to 7 minutes. We'll get all the drive. Just need to get the drivers in and get
and don't worry, and don't worry, they'll have you here chatting away. For me, I've got to go to work, so I have to jump out in between. But I'm sure they'll have plenty to listen to, John. Let's just put it that way.
I'm not sure if that's a compliment or a slight dig. Given your Scottish roots, I'm thinking it's both.
Okay, maybe there was a subtle undertone there, but certainly no agenda, mate. No agenda there. There was a great move there we just saw from Goodway in the Lamborghini and the last corner, and now on board with Losh, who's right on the back of Hill at the moment. So there's the Lamborghini of Goodway. He's just gone through on Feldman and now Losh again. So Panda Esports Racing got a lot of work to do to catch back up. Sony, despite that 15-second penalty, has made up quite a lot of positions on grid already. Losh hasn't quite found it just yet, and the pit window is now open, folks. So the driver swaps, the refueling, the mandatory tyre change is now all in operation. Who will we see pull the trigger first? It's not going to be Sinkkinen, because he's just come through the last corner of Ingwe, and so has Jeffrey Ritchie, Gondakov, Delfante, Velb, and they're all coming through, so no one wants to pit just now. I've noticed here at the circuit that in terms of pit stops, the later you can push it, the better. If you can be really fast in that last stint, maybe with your fastest driver on board, I don't know. Oh dear, David Hill has just had a huge issue at Cheetah. He's hit the curb and absolutely sent it off track. He's just rejoined now, and that is Losh into the pits, the first one to pull the trigger.
Yeah, popped up the replay there. Yeah, that the killer curb, that is one of the most dangerous curbs in the whole of motorsport. It is. Yeah, I'm not sure there's many more unforgiving.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a nice
Red
name.
Bull, maybe, but yeah, Ingwe,
yeah,
Ingwe.
Cheetah. So,
Cheetah, yeah.
Yeah. It's got a nice name, Cheetah, but I feel like it's a cheetah that's hunted you down, got you by the neck, and is pulling you up a tree. That's my feeling about that corner, because it's so difficult to get right and so dangerous and so risky if you want to fly in time at that point. And then, of course, you're immediately sweeping back to the right-hand side of the course, because you're into a braking zone, one of the biggest braking zones in the course, into Ingwe, one of the tightest corners on the track, and then down the pit straight. You need to maximise that as much as possible. Very, very tricky last section of this course, but I absolutely love it. It's one of those, you risk it all. It's like gambling. You put it all on the table. I'm going all in on a pair of twos here and seeing what happens. It's kind of like that. That's my feeling about it.
That's my ace poker strategy. Is that why I never seem to do well, though.
Bluff your way through
strategy.
Oh, well, just bluff your way through. You'll be right. That's always worked for me. In my amazing career as a poker player, which involved probably about $5 at a maximum of betting. So you're hearing it here from the goats of poker right now, me and John.
Yeah, don't do it. The best way to win at poker is not to play.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you come up with 100% earnings.
You do 100% profit every time. Yeah, every time. Panda Esport, they've made their driver change. Max Leonard back out in the car, 22nd position. We've seen Danny Santo come into pits for Tyre Sim Racing. They came in from the top 10, now already down to 13th position, and that'll fall even further. That is how close the field is. We're going to see these penalties have a huge impression on the overall standings for this one. And the thing is, it might actually not be too bad for Jeffrey Ritchie, because in race number 2 it is the top 10 that are reversed.
Yeah, that is very true. So if he's going to end up just trying to do a bit of quick math on the fly, which is, I can tell you, not a good idea. He might actually. It really depends, because the thing is, with Senatore and Classens not having penalties, they'll be elevated up into P9 and 10.
Sorry, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's
just got the move done. Yeah, no, Pisoni just got an absolute beautiful move. Mason there didn't really look like he was putting in a lot of defence. I think he realised the driver coming past is a lot quicker. Pisoni as well, just to add to your train of thought for you, Pisoni's got a 15-second penalty. He's now going to be making his way back towards 10th as well. We could see Pisoni and Ritchie battling for the start of the next race by battling over 10th in this race.
Oh, that'd be fantastic to see, and this is why I do like reverse grids in this situation. But I think they're going to have a bit of work on their hands, because, like I said, you've got Senatore, you've got Classens. Both of them are going to get elevated up into those top 10 positions. With margin as well, only a 5-second penalty, but that will put him behind Senatore. So Senatore will jump up easily into the top 10 after the pit stops. Anufriv is now in the pit, the 911 car there, so pulling the trigger. Maybe a little early from what I would consider, but you know, some cars out there are going to be holding a bit of damage. You want to get in, you want to get out of the car as soon as possible, get a fresh set of tires on. It's basically half race distance here. I suspect that a lot of teams will be thinking, hey, look, half the strategy, you know, get the other driver in as soon as possible, etc., etc. But there's no stint length here. You can run, you know, right up to sort of 35 minutes. But you said, sorry, apologies to everyone about my understanding of the pit window here. It's only a 10-minute pit window. Is that right, John?
Yes. So the pit window will close 5 minutes from now.
So every other car with a number 1, an orange one next to their name on the tower at the moment, they've got a pit in the next 4 minutes of this race, which means we're going to see a flurry of activity in the pit lane very, very soon. And that grid will start to sort itself out in terms of penalties, because those will be served as they go into the pit and stop their car for the driver swap.
It will indeed. Soldatov is back out for Anu Freer. There's Jeffrey Ritchie coming into the pits, and we've got Outlaw in the chat. I know he's a big fan of Ritchie and the gang, and he's saying Ritchie will still get a podium with the penalty. That is a bold statement in this field. That is wishful thinking process blue. Outlaw, under normal circumstances, but if you saw how close qualifying was, there was half a second separating the top 15.
Correct.
15 cars separated by half a second.
Yeah, and truth be told, again, you know, the McLaren is not one of the strongest cars here. We've seen it struggle with overtakes. Big sends have been kind of the way to do it, the McLaren, which are not safe. We've seen a lot of issues, so that's Klaassen's coming into the pits now as well. So, yeah, I don't know. Look, it's a very tall order to even come back up into the top 10, I think, for those like Jeffrey Ritchie and Sony. It's going to be a really, really tricky thing to do, but we've got now 7 cars in the pits at the moment, including James Williams, who is a familiar name to those involved in FRL. He's one of the founders and owners and administrators of the Formula Racing League, and what a legend he is.
He is indeed, and he drives a Ferrari as well. Incredible.
Respect, John. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. All right.
Says the driver that drives the Meta McLaren. Oh no, he didn't.
Uh-oh.
Yes, he did.
All right. Okay. You know,
something got to go work 20 minutes earlier.
Wait, when am I leaving? No, I'm just. I'm out of here. No, I'm kidding. Just in terms of the top at the moment, so this is all out of order, sadly, but Sinkinen has just come into the pit, I believe. Yes, so our race leader is now in the pits, as well as what was third place, the 410 car. Oh, God. Yeah, I'm not even...
No.
Every time I mention the 410 car, you can just... Yeah, exactly, I've got the circuit and track names, corner names. You guys have got the driver names. That's how this is going to work, okay? But also just a note as well, Sinkinen has put in another fastest lap, 140.8. And as I understand it, that's literally about 0.4 of a second off our quali pace. So it's absolutely flying in the Mercedes. You can tell how stable and consistent it is out there, because you can't set quali pace in here. For example, just for comparison, I'll bring up the side for Jeffrey Ritchie. Jeffrey Ritchie, who is just done a driver swap, so now I'm going to have to find the other car there, but he was in the 41s, so not able to crack into the 40s at this stage. Currently on board with the second driver now for SRE Sim Sports, and then De Campo. Here we go. De Campo into the Thomas Enge car now. So as you can see,
he's already in turn.
Oh, he's already in. He's actually just gone out and done an absolute flyer. So that's what they're going to need. They're going to need some really, really fast laps here early on to make up for the 15-second penalties that have occurred.
Yeah, they definitely are. I'm just I wonder if it's worth his while just staying in 10th now. Senatore might actually come out the pits behind him. Malo and Delfante should come out just ahead. He's come out just behind. No, he's not come out behind Uzeski. That is not Haleman, and it's not Osorio either. It's Leonard. In 14th. No, it's not Leonard. Is that in Rubia? No, it's not.
That is in Rubia now in the Lamborghini. But of course, driver swaps always make the commentator's life very, very difficult. So this is part of the fun.
I was trying to figure out which car that was next to De Campo there. He's got James Williams, and that is... Wow. That is close, but that is not for position. Yeah, that is Stamekovic for Simply Race Esports. We saw them get a big penalty in the opening exchanges. So yeah, so that was blue flags there for De Campo to make his way past, which he does very quickly indeed. But yeah, it looks like I might have Carlo Delia comes in and out of the pits. Rakhmenkov is in the car now for VDS ES Juniors. Senatore is on his way out of the pits, and he is going to come out behind De Campo.
Oh, that's big. That is big for De Campo. They've done so well to get themselves back up into a top 10 position there, because that 15-second penalty is no joke on track with such a close field out there. So very well done, and that was a nice little 2-for-1 move. Admittedly blue flag traffic, but the number 2 car there didn't really seem to want to get out of the way. So it was essentially an overtake on track. We've got a yellow, the 245 car at the moment sitting out on track. Not quite sure what's happened there. Kyalami, and it's going again, but had a big off just out of the S's and up the hill. So very tricky place, and looking very squiggly on the exit of Learkop as well. So he's not had a great time through the S's there, sadly. But round grid, Elia now only 1.2 seconds behind Sinek, and they've done their pit stop. So there's going to be a little battle maybe for the tops. Crook now in the car of the 383 car from PLR, now going to be under a bit of pressure from the McLaren behind for ITG setups. So it's all going to start happening at the top. Ruby here, still going strong in that Lamborghini right on the back of Soldatov. Okay, cool, the 911 car. So that's one we had our eye on earlier on.
It is, yeah. Supancek on Dale as well, so the battles are all coming alive again as we've come out the pits. But yeah, that 15-second penalty, I'm just having a look down the data as well, and I can confirm that Richie and his teammate actually only lost 13 seconds in the pits, because everyone else was pitting around 1 minute 4 seconds. There's a couple of drivers that got a pit at 1:01, but the drivers ahead of Richie all averaging pit time of 1 minute 4, so they've lost time in their pit stops compared to other drivers. And the Thomas Eng pit stop was 1 minute 17, so without the pit stop penalty they would have been in and out in 1 minute 2, which would have put them as the second fastest pit stop, and quicker than Delia, Crook, Klassen, all the drivers ahead. So not only fast on the track, getting it done quickly through the pits as well, despite that penalty. One of the few cars into the my apologies, there's 5 or 6 cars have been lapping in the 1 minute 40s. Zezki is only 3/10 a lap slower than De Campo on average, so De Campo 22 minutes to make up time there. But again, it's not as bad as it looks at the minute, because if it finishes as it is, he's going to start the next race in second. It's not bad.
That's not too bad. Yeah, I mean, you just got to get through the turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 chaos. So as long as you get through that cleanly, I mean, admittedly we did see the chaos later on in the lap. As long as you get through lap 1 cleanly, you should be absolutely okay. But yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think one of the things that Thomas Enge's team has done there very good, well, has been maximising their pit entry. It's a very difficult little pit entry. You've got to run basically online into the pits, slam on the brakes, and then get that car turned in a very tight corner on the pit entry. So they've clearly maximised that and getting the car stopped, and that's what saved them a huge amount of time and really thrown them back up the grid. I'm very surprised to see them back in the top 10 already, but some good opening laps on the out lap and first couple of laps from De Campo for the 121 car, and Thomas Enge have really put them back in contention. Just on board now, we've got a little bit of pressure here. It's Zupancic on Dale at the moment, trying around the outside, trying to switcheroo. That Porsche can't quite make it stick through the Duke Sky sweep they go, and up towards Barbecue, my favourite corner. Nice line there for the Porsche, runs nice and deep and nice and wide, using the curb on the exit. It's going to give him the run down towards Sunset. Can he make something happen here? He's moved to the outside. No, sensibly backs out. That's a good idea. Sunset, not a place you want to run too wide, but the move is going to continue here. They're running really close together. Great little battle between the Porsche and the Lamborghini.
Yeah, the Lamborghini just running a bit deep there after Sunset. As you say, it's not one of those places you want to run wide. You definitely don't want to go side by side.
No, please no. I've done it before. I can tell you, it's a code brown moment. You'll need another pit stop to change underwear. I guarantee it. I guarantee it.
Oh yes, those sock changes I was talking about at the start. That'll be pair number 6. But down the mineshaft, yeah, still millimetres separating these two. The same up inside the top 10 though, and this could all aid De Campo chasing the pack ahead, because they are glued to one another at the moment, as in Rubio is chasing Soldato, Bailey Thompson chasing down Martin Claessens, who's taken off over from Rafael Malo up to 4th position. They've got themselves with Bailey Thompson just behind in the Audi. The fast forward driver is at one point on pole position in the qualifying, finished 4/10 off of pole and in 6th or 7th place, half a second separating the top 15. Incredible times is what I'm trying to reiterate. Ben Crook up at the front. Delia was getting a bit close there, but the gap has re-extended by 4/10 of a second, so Crook coming out quickly finding his feet, but Delia is finding the back of him. There is Kyalami, the lock-up racing car. Himself and Malt Pauly, not the best start of the race, has picked themselves up a bit of a penalty at the start of the race, and yeah, you can see the tyres are definitely suffering. Barry Gibbons is also going to be suffering, unfortunately. Himself, Chowdhury and Thompson all in the pits after the pit window has closed without completing their driver swap, so they will get, I believe at this track is 190 seconds. What is 1 minute 40 lap times? 160 second penalty will be added to their times at the end. Of course, sometimes it's not possible for the teams to have another driver with them, but they do still have to basically take the penalty and still do a pit stop for the mandatory tyre swaps as well. Blue is in the chat cheering on, of course. Their favourite chef is Mattia De Campo. He gets called Mattia De Chief. I can jokingly call him Mattia the chef, because he cooks up some great results. We've seen him so far in this competition. Again, Formula Racing League TV have got a YouTube page. You can go back and watch all the races, and it's worth it just to see some of the Thomas Eng performances so far, and all the cars in fact. Delfante, quite a few of the cars have made some absolutely astonishing comeback drives to make this competition what it is. There's 30 points in difference between what you get for winning a race and finishing 10th, so you really do need to keep the results coming in. There's less than 30 points separating the top two by a lot less than 30 points separating them, and this is the halfway mark in the series. 7 rounds, 2 races per round, 14 in total. This is lucky number 7 for some drivers, not quite so lucky number 7 for others.
No, some like the number 7, some don't. I'd say we're about 17 minutes away from the actual halfway through the season, but once we get through race 1, then it really will be 3.5 races in. But no, it's been brilliant, and you're right, Thomas Enge put on some fantastic performances this season so far, and that top spot looking to be retained by them for a little while, despite the result here today. In race 1, it's not the end of the world, and as you said, if they stay in that top 10, they'll be right at the start of the grid. I do want to mention very quickly though, we had Bassini, a big issue at Cheetah, got overtaken by Leinard, who's now in the Lamborghini 159 there. On board at the moment,
on you go, George.
Getting very close. Here we go. There's a move. Is he going to try around the outside in the Audi? Can't really get it done, but the switcheroo is possible here. Parked on the apex. Is that McLaren for Rocket Simsport? They've done very, very well to defend there, and there won't be another opportunity over here into Barbecue. Down the straight towards Sunset, there maybe is, but probably not close enough at this point. There's nice little 4-car battle evolving here, but just the fact to note that I mentioned Leinard up in the P12, but 16 seconds behind Dale. So a long way to go to get back up in the top 12. So for Panda Esports, unfortunately, it might be all she wrote in this race. 16 seconds in 16 minutes. Very tricky, but this rear view camera is beautiful at the moment. 3 cars sitting behind the Rocket Sim Sports car that is driven at the moment by Klassen. He's doing a fantastic job holding off a very, very fast Thompson in the Audi, and right at the back of this is Soldatov, of course, in the 911 there in the white McLaren behind him in Rubia. So some familiar names to me here in this battle, and I know how good these drivers are. So it's all to play for right now. Of course, the higher up you finish in this part, the lower down you'll start. So there's a bit of a mix of ideologies when it comes to this sort of thing. For me,
he's round. He's round.
He is. Oh dear.
Yep, Soldatov, George and I both lead commentators, both waiting for the other one to go, both of us holding in. Oh, tyre sim racing out the corner, exit, ever so slightly keen, tries to keep rolling, both of them keep moving, and that is Soldatov down to 8th position. Mattia De Campo up to 6th position. It's an ill wind that blows nobody some good, and I probably should talk about the cars involved in that there first, but big news, De Campo up to 6th. Outlaw. I may owe you an apology quite soon. We've got Soldatov and Yudzetsky, who's no longer connected to the server. Oh, so we'll have a car drop out. Let me just check. That wasn't one of the cars that was just involved in that spin. That is another car that is involved. But Outlaw saying Matteo getting P4 is close enough to a podium in my eyes. Outlaw, yeah, 100 million%. I'm going to give you credit for a podium when they make it to 4th. And I'm going to say when, because it's De Campo, and I should know better by now. I've seen him driving for this is now the 7th race, and yeah, for some drivers anything is possible. Oh, he's got Bailey Thompson and Martin Klassen ahead again. This battle ahead, is this just going to simply aid De Campo in his pursuit of more points in this round? 15-second penalty, George, and De Campo is back up to 6th and only 7 seconds behind Thompson, who is about half a second a lap quicker at the moment. Oh, this is getting close. I'd still
say it is going to get close. I'd say it's still a very, very tough order to do so, but Campo's got such good pace. He's lapping in the 40s at the moment. Did a 40.880, which is actually 8 thousandths of a second to the previous fastest lap, which has been now improved on by Crook at the front. The gap, by the way, at the front between Delia and Crook is actually reducing now down to 1.5 seconds. So Crook is not running away with it, and Delia with that McLaren is looking very, very speedy. But the new fastest lap at 140.8 flat, 134 car just got a 15-second penalty. That's in Rubia. Gets a 15-second penalty. No surprise there at all for turning around the car beforehand. We saw
Soldatov.
Soldatov, that's right, and Crocodiles. So very unfortunate for that. But that is potentially going to bring Leinart in Panda Esports Racing back into the top 10. So we could have Panda Esports back at the top of the grid for race 2 now.
Would be absolutely incredible, and nothing short of deserved as well. They were on the receiving end of a rotation in their Lamborghini, so yeah, maybe the sim racing gods doing somewhat to right or wrong there, although they've got Massimi chasing them down. He's of course taken over for Pisoni. 3.5 seconds down. He's got a fair chunk to make up as well, actually, so yeah, that is going to be close with Rubia. Oh no, it's not actually. No, he needs to make up some time still. He does still need to make up some time. The De Campo, and I know that we're saying it might be a tall order for De Campo to catch up to Thompson, but if we look at Thompson and Klassen, I wouldn't say both of these cars are running at optimal pace at the minute. There is less than a bungee cord separating the two of them. The Audi just not able to get it done at the end of the straights. As we can see them go side by side into turn number 1 again. He's going to try and hang it around the outside, but he got there a bit too late. The McLaren's going to comfortably stay in the lead up the hill. They're both going to reassume the driving line. Formation 101, and it's all about, I mean, and the thing is, back in the day this would have been a straight shout of the McLaren's going to win, because the Audi tyres will die at the end of the stint. That's not quite the case now, and it is only George. Yep, he knows that if there's one thing we knew as commentators, George, Audi tyres were not doing a stint.
Yeah, correct. And you know, Lambo is sort of in the same boat as well. These sort of slightly more torquey sort of MR cars. They're really, really brutal on their rear tyres. The McLaren, surprisingly, especially the new Evo model, very, very good on its tyres in comparison to previous models and the Audi. And also, and I mean, one of the saving graces here for the McLarens at a track like Kyalami is it's actually got pretty decent braking. So under the brakes, you saw the Audi, it has no option. It was right behind. You know, we're only talking about 0.3 of a second here, but not able to outbrake the McLaren as well. And that's partly down to skill. Obviously, Klaasen's doing a fantastic job defending here against the Audi, but the Audi's not got really any advantage in the braking zones, and that's where the move's going to really have to happen. A little bit wide there from Klaasen. Got to be a bit careful on Cheetah. Not the time to be pushing it too hard, because even consolidating a P5 finish here would be pretty good. You're right about De Campo. I mean, it's 6.4 seconds down the road from this battle, but at the moment these two are not really costing each other any time. I think that's going to be the difference. As long as they don't cost each other too much time on track, then they should be okay. And now 10 minutes remaining in this race, and what a race it has been. Action all up the grid, plenty of battles to be behold as well, and yeah, huge mix up the grid. I don't envy the math you're going to have to do to figure out the grid for the next race, mate.
Indeed, yeah. We're going to have penalties thrown in as well. We've got, is Warby just gone past Chowdhury? No, he's trying to go past Chowdhury, who... Now, I'm not actually sure. Let me just check if he's actually been in the pits, because if he came into the pits out with the pit window, the one would obviously, well, would still not display. Oh no, he did. Oh, he did come into the pits, but he did change
I've
driver.
got to interrupt.
Yes.
P9 Zupancic, 56 car. Yeah, thank you. Has just gone for a spin at I think that was Barbecue. So now going to be overtaken potentially by Dale, who's looking right on his rear bumper. Oh, that was a close one. Going to try around the outside. No luck there. The door has been shut. But the damage on the front of that Porsche is very, very noticeable. This is about to get spicy for the last positions in the top 10.
Yeah, it really is. And this is the... Oh, and Dale's on wide. And he's only saving graces. That's a back marker behind him. So that's not for position.
He's a little bit lucky in that. But I tell you, this is actually bringing Leinart really fast back into things. I'm just trying to do the math now. At the moment, Leinart in the Lamborghini for Panda Esports, he's just going to get into the top 10 with Rubia falling back to P11 as it stands now. Although I could be absolutely wrong about that. I have to double check my timing screens. I think Leinart might be a little bit too far back, but now the gap to Dale and Zupancic is now only 6 seconds. That's doable in 8 minutes.
Yeah, it definitely is. The Panda is charging.
Get the Kung Fu out.
That's the one. What was it? Easy? I just snorted. Absolutely didn't mean to do that.
Well, yeah, no, yeah. But just to bring some perspective on that, that was very close there for Thompson, but manages to hold on to it. 140.8 is Leinart lapping at the moment. Ahead of him, Dale and Zupancic, they're lapping in the mid to high 41, so there is over a second gap in terms of the delta that Leinart is gaining. So, you know, we're going to have about maybe 4 laps left of this race. If he can keep that pace up, he's going to be right on the back of them at the end of this race.
Yes, he is. He's closing right up, and again, that gets him pole position for race number 2, the top 10 reverse, so he knows exactly what he's driving for, and that would be a great position to be in. Crook, who's had absolutely no camera time whatsoever. My apologies, I did say for your teammate at the start of the race, unlikely to get much camera time. Apologies, absolutely tearing away up at the front, and that is another... Oh, it's Playster. Just gone past Playster, sorry. So you say that's not the Audi. Call back up, it's not. But he's keeping the gap at 1.5 seconds. Delia, so the two of them lapping fairly equilibriously. On that last lap there, Delia 4/10 quicker, but this gap hasn't really moved much further than 1.5. So Ben Crook coming out and continuing on from where his teammate left him. At 6 minutes to go. Not much camera time, but certainly a very high possibility, George, that they're going to see that checkered flag now.
Yeah, correct, and it will be really interesting race 2 to see the Mercedes, which has clearly got a pace advantage here, and in the hands of 2 very skilled drivers, is performing incredibly well. In race 2, battle it back up from P10. That is going to be very, very interesting. I'd like to make a note as well. So BDES Junior Esports, Timur Rakhmatov, in third place at the moment, holding onto the pace in the 40s in terms of flat pace at the moment. He's doing a brilliant job. We haven't really mentioned him too much, but the 410 car there, BDES, doing a great job for P3.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like the old Audi advert. You don't realise something has gone wrong until it's... well, you don't realise how well something is doing its job until it's doing it badly, or until it does it wrong, or something along those lines. I need to Google that advert and actually sort out. And that's exactly what Rakhmatov's done. He's come down, he's kept his head under the radar. He's had clear track front and back, and he has absolutely used that. And looking very good to bring home a podium, and indeed matching pace. Matching pace with the race leader as well. 1:41.3 he's just done the same lap, exactly the same lap time as Crook. So, good spot there, George. Rakhmatov getting that job done as well.
Yeah, he's been looking good. I mean, having a nice quiet race.
On screen now, turn one.
Oh, here we go. Another move around the outside. Can he make it stick this time? Oh, he's got a nose in. He's been given space by Klassen, but Klassen can close the door. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh,
what
wow.
a save.
Yeah, that is typical Audi stuff right there. It's the rear end under braking, and it does not want to be turned at the same time. Oh, look at that on board. Wow. That is a spectacular save, because you're off camber, you're going uphill, the rear end is stepping out, and look at the counter steer he put into the car. I mean, yeah, that was very close from spinning around. He might have collected Klassen as well in that, so well controlled there from the Audi driver, just putting everything on the line right now. Looking down the grid, P14, Robinson on Osorio in the Lamborghini.
Teammates.
So nice little battle. Teammates are there.
Yeah,
okay,
both FRL,
FRL. That's right. So
yes,
what do you do when you what do you do when you get to a teammate in the corner? You absolutely send it like there's no tomorrow. I'm kidding.
Well, we did actually see this a few laps ago. I was trying to do some fancy free cam, and Robinson did go full send into turn one, completely missed his brakes. I think he was too busy paying attention to the Lamborghini head, ended off into the siding. Oh, he's opened that up nicely, looking for the cutback, though not quite got the momentum to get him on the exit. But he's definitely looking the quicker of the two, trying to get this position taken. And they're going to start next to some of the quickest drivers on the grid, because they're currently battling for 13th position, so they'll only be 2 rows behind the race winners. At the start, I was going to say going into turn one, a lot can change on the run into turn one here at Kyalami. It's not only an inviting turn one, you get a lot of momentum before you get there at the start of a race, George.
Yeah, I think they should rename that. They should move Crocodile to that turn one. Because Crocodile lures you in. It's there, it's sneaking around, and then it bites you when you go back into the juke size sweep. It just closes up, the jaws close, you're locked in, and then you start to spin around barbecue. So I think they should rename that. I'll send them a message. I'll send Toby Venter a message and say, hey, look, I've got this idea about turn one because it is atrocious. I don't want to change the track. Just give it a new name so we can all have a laugh when we go through that. Just a quick note here. Leinart, so I've done the math now. Leinart will not get up into the top 10 within Rubia's 15-second penalty because there is a 16-second gap between Zupancic and Soldatov. So he will not benefit from that 15-second penalty, but he's now only 2.6 seconds off the back of Dale. He's still got a lot of work to do, and 2 minutes left in this race. There will be, as far as I can calculate, 2 laps remaining, but he can see him now. He can see him. Leinart can see him now. So Lamborghini versus Lamborghini, the 159 versus the 69 car. Leinart's got to keep up this pace. He's still lapping in the low 41s. Doing very, very good, but he's got to go faster.
Yeah, just squeeze that a little bit more pace out of the car, and that's pole position in the next race. That is quite the prize to be presented with in the closing stages. Mattia De Campo, the charge continues. He's halved the gap since he got himself up into 6. It's down to 3.8 seconds, but a minute 22 to go. It does look like the charge has been halted. 4th place to start the next race, though. Surely odds-on favourite to win it, even with the pace that Crook has shown, because De Campo, 1 minute 40.8 as opposed to the Mercedes 1 minute 40.6. So really not off that pace at all. Going to be an incredible battle as well between Klassen and Thompson. Thompson a couple of times just got right up onto the back of Klassen, just not able to get that overtake. It's one thing to catch up to a car, it's another thing entirely to overtake. It's another thing entirely even again when they're all SRO and the back markers made a bit of contact and Thompson's had a bit of a run wide, and that is unfortunate as we bring up the replay there, George.
Yeah, please, because the back marker there didn't quite get out of it soon enough. Stayed in the middle of the track, and Thompson had no choice but to turn in. Otherwise, he was going to be off into the gravel pit, and the back marker just, yeah, I hate to say it, but that was probably not quite the right etiquette for a blue flag there.
Yeah, and I think, was he in his blind spot? I'm not sure where he was coming from there. It might have been a bit close. Let me just check. It says the leader's on the final lap, and he's about to cross the line. There's 4 seconds on the clock. Is he going to cross the line and get another lap? 1 second to go and he's crossed.
Oh, wow. Okay, I was about to say absolutely, but then I bit my tongue and went, no, I'm not gonna say that, because it was very close. We're about half a second in that.
Wow.
Crikey. But that's good for Leinard. That gives Leinard another lap. He's 2 seconds away now. But also with Thompson, when we were on board just before, you can see the rear of the Audi suffering. The tyres are dead. They're overheating. He's in the dirty air. Probably got the brake ducts turned up to maximum, but it's not going to help him at all. So he's fallen well behind Klassen now. Klassen will secure P4 in this race. And yeah, crikey. He's right now slipping back into the jaws of De Campo, because I mean, look at the rear. You can see he's sliding across the track. He's got very hot tyres. I don't know what kind of brake duct setting he's got, but wow, I've just seen a car off at the main straight. Leinard goes round, crossing the pit line entry, crikey. But this on board with Thompson, you can see how the car is sort of diving around in the corners, very slow on entry now. He can't trust anything in the car at all through the corners, and De Campo's making up bags of time on him right now.
He is indeed, yeah. The two FRL drivers are still having themselves a little battle as well. Leonard, he really is getting close. So is the race winner, just coming through the final few corners now. Oh, there's a 5-second penalty being added to Warby at the end. There might still be some more penalties to get added as well. So none of the results that we see are final, but we will see one result that is for absolute definite, and that is Ben Crook, PLR Esports, pole position to checkered flag. Phenomenal driving at the end. He even managed to put another couple of tenths over second placed ITJ setups Carlo Delia. What a drive. And Timur Rakhmetov, the VDES junior team, phenomenal drive in the McLaren to take that podium. Martin Klassen's bringing SRE Rocket Simsport up to fourth, with Bailey Thompson hanging on there, the fast forward racing driver. We've got to know.
Leinard is on the back of Dale right now. He's going to potentially book a send. You've got to keep on board with this. Oh, he's going to do it. Also, there's big contact. He's in the pit wall. Oh, no.
Wow.
Oh, dear. That was... we're going to have to look at a replay of that. Crikey, because there was a bit of a late move there, maybe from Dale, just in defensive, to try and stop him from going. So here we are in Crocodiles coming through. This is where Leinard gets a really good run in on Dale, and Leinard, by the way, is still getting back on track. Through Cheetah they go. Dale is very slow through there. Leinard goes a little bit wide, touches the back. Oh, Dale moves over. That's very borderline. I'm not going to make any judgments. That's up to the stewards at the end of the race. But Leinard does now come across the line with a very, very slow-looking Lamborghini, because that was as big a contact as you could possibly see. I personally, here's John, I don't know what your thoughts are. Chat, do let us know. But crikey, I think that might have been just a little cheeky there, closing the door from Dale. He was obviously very desperate to hold on to that P10, because Dale, as it stands right now, will actually finish. We'll actually start the next race in P1. And Leinard will be in P11.
Yes, so massive ramifications there. The stewards are definitely going to be having a look at that one, I can assure you. Was he in full control of the car when he came back over? Who knows? There was a bit of contact on the exit. Well, there was
contact from Leinard as well. So, I don't know. Leinard sort of almost initiated it, and the Dale got a little bit squiggly. Whether or not the moving over from Dale was still from him just trying to get the car back into a grippy situation, it's entirely possible that it was, in which case Lionard would be entirely at fault for that. And if not, then Dale tried to close the door, and there was nowhere for Lionard to really go at that point. So we'll have to leave that for the stewards. No opinions from us in the commentary box, but crikey, what a way to end. Lionard was... He closed up well over 16 seconds in the last quarter of the race. So he was absolutely flying in that Lamborghini. Great performance there. But your top 10 at the moment, as it stands at the end of that race, and actually it's just been reset, which is absolutely lovely from us. But of course, will be Crook for PLR over the line in first place. Then we had... you'll have to...
Delia for ITJ setups, then Rakhmatov.
ITG. Yes, that's right. So that was for the VDES Junior Esports team. Done very, very well. Fourth place there.
Class in for SRE. Yep, it's still on Pitwall Live.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, well, I should probably be looking at that as well. That's one of those. So,
with the million other screens that us commentators have got open for oodles of data and track maps and corner names. And
exactly. I've got 25 tabs open on 3 computers at the moment. But nonetheless, my mind's still on that last bit of contact because I was so focused on the Lionard thing. So maybe John, maybe you can run us through the top 10 results that stands right now.
Well, indeed, as we saw, Crook, Delia and Rakhmatov taking those top 3 spots, Klassen and Thompson for SRE, for Rocket Sim Sports, and Fast Forward Racing got that 5th to Campo for Thomas Eng, bringing home 6th, and Rubia, will he hang on to 7th? We will find out. Soldatov could be in 7th, he's in 8th, Supancic got 9th, and it was Dale for Guerrilla Racing that hung on to 10th position. Massimi did make it back up to 11th past the floundering Leonard 8-ball corner pocket. Robinson did get ahead of Asario right at the end, so while we were watching the replay, the teammates swapped positions. The BMW out arriving the arrive and drive Lambo. Jason Pooley brought home the BMW for 15th position. Of course, race number 2 will be starting very soon, and the top 10 will be reversed. The penalties will be added, so we'll see what happens to in Rubia after that. And there we can see Remy Loos being spun on lap 1 in the replay. Just confirm, is there a drop round? No. There is no drop round for this championship.
Which I think makes sense because we are buying for the GTO Grand Final. It should,
It is, yes, Leonardo Pisani and Yevgeny Nateman. Yeah, that was the one you caught in the replay and that we missed at the start of the race. Yeah, so that was cars floundering left and right. That was the Lamborghini. Once again, Smiley in the chat, he did in fact notice that Robinson had got Asario. So yeah, they two will start side by side for race number 2, which can only be good. There's Dave Goodway getting a good move done on Barry Gibbons. Asorio's teammate, no less. It looks like that has been reset. Excellent. As George was saying, it is positions in the VCO SimGrid Grand Final and the October playoffs that the drivers are vying for. The top 5 get themselves a guaranteed place in the final. Top 3 in a GT3 car, 4th and 5th in a GT4 car, and then 6th, 7th and 8th will get themselves a place in a playoff in October. The top 3 teams from the playoff get a GT4 car in the final. There's 10 hosts hosting events to win places, and of course the 12-week programme on LFM. So 58 places up for grabs. 30 of them will be GT3 cars, 28 will be in GT4s, and that promises to be absolutely incredible. Oh, there was a Mercedes. That was Ian Thompson just going off track. That was James Williams just getting the move done nicely.
Yeah, holding a lot of damage though, so I suspect that probably affected the aero down mine shaft. Very tricky corner at the best of times. In the west, you have to lift. Like absolutely crazy. It's very, very tricky. David Hill's on leading into the but yeah, no, so the VCO Grand Finals is going to be absolutely epic. 3 endurance rounds, it's going to be absolutely brilliant. Tippy top of the tippy top of the tippy top of the drivers from, I believe, 10 or more. I think it's about 10, isn't it? Leagues that are the top leagues on simgrid.com. So big shout out to simgrid.com for putting this on once again. It's absolutely brilliant to see the community that come together for these races. The mixed class as well, mixed class and enduro. Oh, that's fun. Oh, it's fun. There's usually a bit of antics going on, and oh, look at the curve right there. That's so brave. I've died on that curve a number of times racing here, and I tell you, have the bravery. And this goes to show one of the reasons why. Oh, nearly through why they got pushed a bit wide. Lucky, that was spicy racing. That was. I tell you, the Ferrari eats these curves here at this track for some reason. I don't know how it does it, but it does just seem to do it. And looking back is Holy and Chowdhury as well. What a little overtake is going to go here. 2 McLarens battling it out. I do love to see lots of McLarens in the grid as well. I'm a McLaren fan. I can't say I'm unhappy about it, but yeah, it's good to see that the Mercedes is strong here. Good to see the Lambos and the Porsches as well up in the mix. MR cars very, very strong overall in the game, but the Mercedes, the MG, the PLR, just dominant. So it's very interesting to see how they fight back. But race 2, which is coming up in about 10 minutes. So it seems to be doing a bit of practice. The grid will be getting sorted out. Post penalties will be applied. The stewards will be licking their lips, getting themselves ready, and maybe having a bit of a South African barbecue on those results there. There was quite a few incidents across the track. I mean, a lot of them got served, obviously, in the pit lane. But there was a lot of incidents during that track. And Kyalami, unfortunately, I wouldn't say that a track necessarily breeds incidents. But Kyalami is one of those ones where the overtakes become, I'm trying to say this as subtly as possible, but they can become a little bit more desperate, a little bit more urgent is the word I'm looking for. The overtakes become urgent because it's so difficult to overtake. So when you see an opportunity, you really do kind of take it. Why we see a lot of spice being put on the barbecue, so to speak, around barbecue and the first couple of corners in the race.
Indeed it is. It's one of those tracks that definitely, the thing is, it lures you in. Like you say, we should rename that corner Crocodile, because the corners, they do lure you in. Turn 1, there's more than enough room to go side by side, but it's just only one car is going to carry the momentum unless you pull off, unless somebody makes a mistake, or unless somebody is absolutely otherworldly on the brakes, as we saw through sector number 3 there. One click of that sausage curb and you find yourself into the pit wall, the bottom of the mine shaft, even before you get to Crocodile and Galway. You get invited in
of the mine shaft.
Yes, you get invited into those overtakes, and you'll very much find yourself in the wall at the bottom of the mine shaft.
Yeah,
if you get that one wrong.
That's right. Yeah, you'll be tossed in. You'll be blocked in by rocks. Yeah, absolutely. It's every overtake around it, every place, even crocodiles. The track opens up to about 6 cars wide. You can go 6 cars into there probably quite easily, but suddenly you're being funneled back in towards Cheetah. I mean, it's almost cruel in a way, because you're convinced you're going to have an overtake opportunity, but nothing is guaranteed with a circuit like this. You've got no real opportunity to do that. Dive up the inside, but you're coming around the left-hand corner into the top of the hill through Lear Cop. It's a very tricky break, a totally slide up the hill. And then suddenly you're powering out on the power early, still turning down mine shaft you go, into a sweeping left-hander. Then you're suddenly into Crocodiles and you're braking hard at the 100 board. People can fly up the inside, cut you off. Crocodiles, you want to open up as much as possible to the lead of the cheapest. Hold a lot of speed together. This was another good battle. Two-pad kick.
What a save.
Of Cheetah. Oh yeah, fantastic save, because the Shadow Realm beckons on that one for Dale, but he holds on beautifully.
Yeah, didn't quite get the ticket stamped there from the Air Stewardess. Air Shadow Realm was kept waiting, and I think so I was going to say, I don't think we'll wait much longer. Can you confirm how close are we? Are the drivers I think they should all be in. And in fact, how are you for time, George? Because you've got to go and rejoin the real world at some point.
Sadly, yes. I've got to go and rejoin the real world. Go and have a meeting with my boss very, very soon. It's the morning here on a Wednesday, so I have to go very, very soon, probably in the next minute or so. Unfortunately, as far as I can tell, there's 7 minutes elapsed in practice over there, so I believe there's about another 7 minutes or so, maybe. But I'd probably say time to jump over to the free practice server. Here we go. Yeah. So
jump over.
So. Yeah, overall, I mean, I was about to say, one thing I haven't mentioned today was anyone becoming part of the manufacturer's space program, but Dale there, definitely becoming a involuntary astronaut in the Lamborghini space program and heading out towards to low Earth orbit there for a minute, but holds on to it, kicks the parachute out, and heads back down to Earth. So good save there from him. But no, it's been an absolute pleasure watching race 1. I'm gutted that I can't stay for race 2 because I'll be watching on my phone as I go into the world. I'll be having my meeting with my boss and I'll be still watching it on my phone.
Excellent. Well, I hope he realises the talent he's robbing us of. Tell him he better have you on double time.
He doesn't understand what commentary's all about, mate. It's all right. I'll convince him maybe one day, but no, the man's not got the understanding, sadly. But no, he's a good guy. But nonetheless, John, been an absolute pleasure being in the comms box with you, mate. Looking forward to more. Thank you everyone in chat, and good luck to all the remaining all the remainder of the drivers in the next race. What a brilliant time we've had at Kyalami today. So thank you again.
Indeed, yeah, George, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure to get into the commentary box with you. It's been, a long time coming since you joined the little Raven Comms team that we've got going, and it's been an absolute pleasure. Cannot wait to do it again, and yeah, definitely treated to a phenomenal race for our debut together, so good, and yeah, got to see you go, my friend, but go work well, and we'll see you back again soon, and thank you for some phenomenal commentary tonight.
Yep, my absolute pleasure. Thank you, everyone in chat. Thank you to FRR organisers. Thank you, John, of course, for the opportunities. And hopefully you guys see you guys next time. So, forward to signing out. See you all later.
Take it easy, George. Bye, mate. Go then. There is George Cook, of course, Crazy Good Kung Fu on Twitch. He does race himself as well in between the phenomenal commentary. He is quicker than me as well. So, yeah, better than me in the comms box, better than me on the track. Actually, yeah, why do I like that guy? Well, we'll crack on. We'll have the next race coming up soon. The drivers are just joining back in again. Optimum conditions. Never even got mentioned once with everything that was going on, but it was 25-degree track temperature for the whole of race 1. Nice and easy for the drivers to cope with. That was about the only thing that's going to be the same again for race number 2. We'll get confirmation on the starting grid when the drivers line up. Of course, race 2 is... the starting grid is the finish order from race 1 with the top 10 reversed. We did see in Rubia with a penalty, so he is going to change positions. Ironically, it's actually going to move him closer to the front as he drops down the finishing order. So, yeah, not a bad way to get to serve a penalty. This is, of course, the Super Sprint 2, the grand finals from Formula Racing League. We've been to Spa, Imola and Mount Panorama. I remember, George, in the opening 3 rounds. This is the halfway mark of the competition. We are at Kyalami. We've got Silverstone, Valencia and the Nürburgring still to come. Of course, all live here on Formula Racing League's Twitch channel. 4 channels they've got now, so make sure you give some love to the other channels they've got going as well, supporting ACC on multiple platforms, PC and PlayStation 5. 90 drivers a week turn up to the Taco Tuesday. Tier 2 being broadcast by Sean Madden and Luke Taylor at the moment, and on Tier 1 it is Tom Crooks. On the main ACC Formula Racing PS5 ACC TV, and they've got the PS5 ACC TV too. So 3 ACC events running this evening, and it's all compiled by James, King of the Spreadsheet Williams, on YouTube, all beautifully catalogued there, all the previous races, so you can go back and have a look by competition. And yeah, feast upon the plethora of world class races that the team have got to offer. We have another world class outing about to start. The drivers, as you can see, filing back into the server when that catches back up. There we go. There is Ben Crook in the PLR team, brought home the car for the win in race 1. Going to start this one in 10th position. How far through the field can he get? We saw the top 5 so closely matched on pace, only a couple of tenths separated the fastest laps of Crook and Matteo De Campo. My goodness me, how on earth did I suddenly throw that one under the bus? But yeah, Matteo De Campo, very quick at the end, matching Crook very, very, very closely indeed. And of course this one, he starts ahead. So yeah, we'll see how this one goes. Of course, Pisoni as well, and we'll find out if there's going to be any. Can't be worse than me on the names. Apologies all, says George. Yeah, there's definitely there is definitely an art form to the pronunciation of names. That is for absolutely sure. It definitely depends on what part of the world you grew up in and what part of the world the names in particular are from. Especially, actually, I was doing a broadcast a few days ago, and someone, we were talking about name pronunciations, and he mentioned that there was I'm sure it was Polish, Slovakian, an entire sentence, 4 or 5 words, not a vowel to be seen. And that, I mean, not a vowel to be seen in the 4 or 5 words. An entire sentence with not a vowel in it. So there we go. That's the type of uphill struggle we face. Just not quite the uphill struggle that the drivers have got. We've got a minute before we're back out at Kyalami. 2.8 miles of absolute pristine racing tarmac. Changed 5 times, as George mentioned, since its inception in 1961, and was almost consigned to the history books but for some extremely wily investors who I'm sure are more than happy with what's come out. Of course, it was 1961, the first races were run in November that year. The National Championships, Rand Spring Trophy, and a 9-hour endurance race were held, the latter of which, of course, became a major fixture in the following years. Public attendance was absolutely huge in the opening years, and still is, and it's thanks to the fact that the circuit itself is unbelievably close to Johannesburg, Pretoria and Witwatersrand. I should have just left that one out. But yeah, the spectators themselves, much like unlike Paul Ricard, the track and the spectator facilities are phenomenal here at Kyalami. Paul Ricard, more just the spectator facilities, really. And obviously one of the big selling points is that you can see 2/3 of the track from pretty much any one of the viewing points. They've added covered grandstands, and they've ensured there's been continual development in the facilities, and it is absolutely incredible. And ever to the benefit of sim racers and real racers, this track is still featured in so many events. I mean, if you ever do get the chance to just drive up to the top of the mineshaft, park your car and have a look at the view, it's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive. There we go, Philip Ballawender going to cross the line for the petrol aficionados to end his practice lap. And here we go again. It's round number 4. It is race number 2, the 8th race of 14 the drivers need to get themselves through, and they will need to race in every race if they're going to take these places in the final. Only 30 points separate, 103 points for winning the race, 70 for finishing in 10th. So that's not a big difference in the grand scheme of things when you've got this many cars vying for the top spot. As George pointed out in the intro, there's been 18 podium spots up until the start of tonight's events available for the teams over the opening 6 races. Only 5 teams have taken those 18 spots, and only 2 teams up until today had taken pole position. PLR Esports joining the Italian Job Gold, who aren't racing today, and of course Thomas Eng as teams that have taken pole position in this competition. So that shows you just how stiff and fierce the competition is for those top spots. Ben Crook there will take stint 1. Delfant back out for stint 1. Gornikov back out for stint 1. So is Malo. Thompson is going to come out for... Oh no, Veldman is out. Ritchie is out for stint 1 again. So is Soldatov. Dan Smith. Zupanchik. Oh no, it's Rubia is out. Zupanchik is out. And Senatore on the front row of the grid. Max Leonard starting for Panda Esports. Side by side with Leonardo Pisoni in 11th. That is going to be an incredible run into turn number 1. I mean, yeah, Ritchie up there in 5th position is going to get a good run on the drivers ahead, that is for sure. And in fact, I've just realised... Oh no, we are on the cars, there we go. My apologies, thought we were still on the cars, but there, don't know why my brain stopped working for a moment. Right, we'll have the car, there we go. 6 PM, so it is just a straight continuation. The track temperature has dropped to 22 degrees, so we're going to see even faster laps, no doubt, from the drivers. They have been getting very, very quick around here already, and I think it might get a little bit quicker. They are going to have some of that sun to deal with as they come round turn number 1. And there is Yateman. Oh no. Oh yeah. So there we go, coming through turn 1, lap 1. That is a lot of glare coming through the windshield. Does add a whole new dimension to the opening lap. So they'll have the same at this point in the track as well, through Sunset. I think we now know why it's called Sunset. That's going to make it a fun one. Let's jump off there while they warm up their brakes, of course. It's all fine and well here and that during the race, but not so much on the warm-up lap. It is, again, same format as race number 1. We've got a 1-hour race. There's a 10-minute pit window halfway in. The drivers have no specific stint timer. They just need to get their driver swap and tyre change done during the pit window. Nice and simple. If you don't, you'll receive a healthy penalty, which will see you tumble down the order, as we saw in race 1. One of the teams unable to field 2 drivers this evening. The driver did take his mandatory stop and change tyres, didn't swap drivers, so did receive a penalty and finished in last. There is, the Italian Job ASD car is here. Starting from 25th. Okay. Plovchik and Nateman, not great races for these 2 teams in race number 1. Jaco van Eck out. Jackie's Racing Team. Race 1 must have really flew past, because that is not a name that I recognise. Unless they were just unable to attend lap 1. Were they in race 1? Was I really paying that much of attention to the top of the field? Confusion reigns supreme. But we'll crack on with what we do know, and that's Guerrilla Racing are up at the front, on the front row with Zupanchik. So even in the reverse order grid, no McLaren in the top 3. Veldman in the Audi still managing to start in 6th position. This is going to be an absolute shootout in the middle of the top 20 here. Ben Crook right in the middle. Pisoni and Leonard right behind them. It's green lights, foot down, flat out, and Leonard making a good start. So too Ben Crook. Oh, the McLaren moving over. Oh, Mark Klassen getting moved over on there. Up at the front, around the outside. Supancic tries to make the move work early doors, loses a bit of momentum, doesn't lose second position though, as they go 3 wide in the background, and Rubia getting swallowed up very closely, followed by Soldatov. No, it's not, sorry, it's Ritchie. He's already passed Soldatov. 3 wide in the background as Martin Klassen finds himself fully involved. Ben Crook trying to find a way past on his way into Sunset, nothing doing, as that's Max Leonard who's made up several positions at the start then. Let's just get confirmation of how far up the field he's got. No, up to, where is Leonard? Yeah, he is. He's up to 8th position. Leonard's made his way up to 8th. Oh, he's in a bit of contact with Veldman. He'll be having PTSD after lap 1. Oh, down into the S's where he shouldn't ever go side by side. George and I said, well, let's guess what Max Leonard says. I can. Oh, and in the background, Martin Klassens has collected a car. That was the car that was just sideways. That's Nico Veldman tumbling down the order then. Everyone is going to go flying past. Delfante got upset there. Pooley managed to make it through for SRE, but Nico Veldman, that is, there we go, one car going to have to make his way massively back up the field. Man, I can't keep up with how far he's fallen down. He's dead last. He's dropped to absolute dead last after that one. That is a long way for the Audi to go then. Senatore not got a long way till he finishes lap number 1, and he's got half a second back to Supancic, who's defending from Soldatov. Ritchie in 4th and Rubia in 5th. It's Ogornikov in 6th place. Max Leonard up to 7th position. Ben Crook's up to 8th place. Martin Klassen is in 9th, and Balawander. We've got someone dropping down the order there. Pisoni again, another lap 1 incident for Pisoni, and we've missed it. Whatever it was, I've missed it. Down into the S's. In fact, he's down in 25th, so by the time he got to the S's, he was in 25th position. So yeah, a bit of elbows out at the start. We've got Balawander up from 13th to 9th position then. Going to go round the outside of Klassen at the bottom of the mine shaft. Klassen fending him off. There's Alan Brown's Texaco machine. He's got the FRL arrive and drive, so it's Dave Goodway battling with Alan Brown. The same 2 cars from race number 1, different drivers. They've got David Hill just ahead of them. He's managed to sneak a position there. Senatore leads the race into turn number 1. It's Supancic and Soldatov. Oh yeah, of course, this is a 1-minute replay that we're on. So that's actually some pre-existing action that we've been watching, and I'm glad that we jumped back to see some of that. Dave Goodway ahead of his teammate now, got Misha Miladanovic separating the 2 of them, and Rudibia is still up in 3rd position though. Oh, Leonard in the background over Cooks while he's over defending against Supancic. Supancic down in 6th position. Oh, do we have a look back? Yes, let's brave it and have a look back. Oh no, she's just stayed there down the mine shaft. Yep, so all is... so that must have been a couple of corners ago. Ben Crook got that battle just ahead of him then. Martin Klassen still in 9th place, and we can see Leonard just overcooking it at the bottom of the mine shaft once again, and Supancic going side by side with him and gets the nose cleanly in front. Ooh, and he avoided that apex. Almost came a cropper there. Let's get some cameras back on the action as they're going side by side ahead again. Supancic and Leonard still going at it. They're going to go side by side through Supancic. I'm setting up straight for this one. It's the Porsche that's got his nose in front. The Lamborghini much braver on the brakes. Is he going to keep it between the Mayo and the Mustard on the exit? That is an unbelievably brave move, and he's managed to get back on the brakes, get the car rotated and get it beautifully in front. Opened up a gap as well. What a move by Max Leonard. Absolute man on fire at the minute behind him. Ben Crook being pressed by Klassen, who's back ahead of Philip Ballawender. The petrol aficionados are certainly officiating a top 10 position as they look to go side by side in the mine shaft. Ben Crook tries to go round the outside of Supancic as Ballawender gets the move done up the inside. Beautifully done on the brakes. They're going to be side by side at the bottom of the mine shaft, exactly where you want to be side by side as they head into the bottom of the mine shaft. Can Klassen fend off Balawander's advances, and the Mercedes ahead is going to get the run. Again, the corner exit from that Mercedes is absolutely otherworldly. The Porsche, almost yielding there, yielded a bit too much. The two of them have gone wide, two of them have gone through, and in the background, David Hill, there's carnage. Well, not so much carnage, but just a lot of drivers. Monkey see, monkey do. Quite a few drivers there deciding to take the long way round. Can confirm that doesn't save you any time cooling your tyres on that gravel. So we can see they're heading towards Crocodile. So they're at the bottom of the mineshaft. Even I'm trying to wrench my neck to see what happened there. So they saw the drivers ahead go side by side. They come around the corner. Oh, it's just a slight misjudgment then. So they all just slightly misjudged it. Certainly the FRL arrived and Drive Ferrari arrived, but it didn't quite drive away under those circumstances. Eric Delfante, who's now in 14th position, in fact, so another driver I've lost track of in the opening stages. 14th position. Now finds out Miladanovic falling down the order. It's Micha Miladanovic who's tumbling so fast. Wow, what's going on there? Let's jump on and replay this. So this is him ahead of Delfante, and he is ahead. He's just behind the carnage ahead. Oh, there's lots of clouds of smoke there. He goes round the outside of the Lamborghini, and there's a bit of a stutter there. That might have been a bit of netcode during the race, but he gets a clean run out of the last corner. He clearly gets the drop on the Lambo. So too, oh no, Delfante not quite getting the drop on the Lambo on the exit, but he is using that as slipstream. So of course they're going to go 3 wide into turn number 1. Delfante looking for a double move up the inside, beautifully positioned. It's the third driver in the equation that's off best position to go up the hill, and really ACC. Sorry, most unprofessional, but that saying that contact didn't deserve that type of outcome there. That is, yeah, sorry. Yeah, okay, let's crack on with the racing. It's Senatore who's leading the way. No, it's not. It's Rubia that's leading the way. We're going back for another replay. It's in Rubia. It's a 4-way battle. No, we're not going for a replay. It's a 4-way battle. Oh my goodness me, it's a 5-way battle for the lead of the race, and Rubia is in the lead of the race. He's got Gorilla Racing on the inside, Soldatov and Ritchie involved as well. Soldatov looking for a move up the inside. He's not going to get that one done there, but Salvia and Rubia is taking the lead of the race. Let's jump back and have a look at this one. So let's see, is it Senatore? So Senatore's in the lead. In fact, at this point, Ritchie is ahead as well. So we'll get to the bottom of the mine shaft. Once again, the corner exit. So at this stage, it's all fine as well. It's not this sausage gear. Oh, he's a bit wide. Yep, he was wide of that corner. You need to avoid that sausage. You can't avoid it that much. Oh, and he's gone a bit slow in the corner there. The Tyre Sim Racing has arrived, and he's driven off exactly what the FRL Lamborghini wanted to do, but it was another Lamborghini, a Tyre Sim Racing, that took the lead, and they were followed through by a Soldatov, who had a beautiful run in the slipstream. So of course they went 4 wide into turn number 1. The Gorilla Racing car tried to carry as much momentum as possible as a Gornikov getting involved in the background. There's Max Leonard in the background as well. It is squadron formation. The red arrows would have been proud of this type of formation driving as they come up around here onto that back straight once again and into Sunset. Phenomenal stuff, and it's in Rubia that is now leading the way. Soldatov in second, Senatore in third, it's Ritchie in fourth. Leonard is up to 5th position. Leonard is going to be up to 4th position because we're going to see an almost mirror move of the last lap as we see 2 Lamborghinis go side by side chasing a McLaren, and that's making straight on a contact. He's moved back in and pulled into the slipstream there. That seemed like a foolish contact for the 2 drivers. It's cost them time and momentum and cost us a battle for Ritchie. Ritchie will certainly be grateful. As the drivers are still vying for position, then they're now brought in. They've brought a 3 wide upon themselves. Then it's Gornikov who's joining in on this one. They're exactly 3 wide. Gorilla Racing think better of it. So Gornikov is still going to have a go at this one. BDS Juniors looking to go side by side with Gorilla Racing through Sunset. They survive. Max Leonard, he's got his way up to 4th position. I'm wondering if he plays ice hockey in his spare time. As a Gornikov looking to make it interesting down through the S's. Ben Crook has sailed his way through as well with everything that's going on. All these battles is costing the drivers time. Ben Crook is absolutely loving it. So too Balawander and Klassens. They're still battling wholeheartedly for the positions. We see Klassens is now separated from Balawander by Crook. So Balawander's actually just snuck ahead of Crook as Soldatov, Ritchie steal away with it, and Ruby and Max Leonard still trying to chase down Jeffrey Ritchie as the Kornikov is closing in, looking for a big move there in the background. It's side by side then as Balawander and Ben Crook in the Mercedes. They're going to go side by side through Crocodile, of course they are. Oh, and I tell you what, the Mercedes is not happy about that one. Oh, he's going to be forced into a side-by-side in the final corner, and it's going to be a good run. Ben Klassen's getting, Martin Klassen, sorry, getting a good rotation on exit. He's going to get a good run. He's going to be in the slipstream, heading into turn number 1. Here we go again. Kyalami, I'm getting you tattooed across my heart. Into turn number 1, we can see the battle ahead. Max Leonard still defending from a Gornikov. Balawander, he's got two of the fastest on the track, absolutely breathing down his neck. And look at Zupancic in the background. He's not giving up on this one either. He knows he can't because he's got David Hill and Eric Delfant closing in the background. There are drivers outside the top 15 as well. But at the moment, we're going to concentrate on what's going on up at the front here, because it is incredible precision driving. Gornikov all over the back of Max Leonard. What a charge for Leonard from 12th to 4th position. Potential reviews by the stewards, but that's why they get so long in the replay and we stick with the live action. Balawander being chased by race 1 winner Ben Crook up to 7th from 10th in the reverse order. Gritsupancic in 9th, David Hill 10th, it's Eric Delfant in 11th, it's Pavlo Polovchuk in 12th. Dave Goodway leading the battle of the FRL, Lambo and BMW, and it's Alan Brown who is that position behind him in 14th place. Hitcham Duby is out for the Italian job ASD team, so with all that chaos at the start, they've gone from 25th to 15th. Oh yeah. Sean Warby up to 16th position. Vicendo Senatore, Guerrilla Racing, find themselves once again battling with Nico Veldman in the Fast Forward Racing team, but it's for 17th position at the moment. Matthew Feltham in 19th, Derek Brough for FRL in 20th position, Yevgeny Nietman in 21st, Jacko Van Eck for Jackie's Racing, sideways and going to lose positions. Pizzoni once again. Oh, Milanovic really struggling with the back of that McLaren, just as George was saying in his opening. He's driven the McLaren around here. The back end is lively. Milanovic finding out the hard way there. Michael Firth. Oh, that's clumsy. There we go. More battle up at the front. Balawander has been overtaken by Ben Crook, and he's just retaken the position as in the background. We can see David Hill getting overtaken by Eric Delfante. Let's have a look at this from Delfante's point of view. I actually might get a good look at the overtake ahead. All the extra steering and it gets an amazing exit compared to Hill there. Out of turn number 4 and heading into Sunset. They are side by side, of course they are. He puts the McLaren around the outside. Can he carry the momentum? He's had to use more brakes here. Keeps it just between the Mayo and the Mustard. Just about enough room left as he goes side by side once again. And in the foreground, that is where Balawander got himself back ahead of Martin Klassens down into the S's. We've got some penalties coming in. Jeffrey Ritchie with a 5-second penalty. David Hill with a 10-second penalty. Derek Brough, one of the FRL team, picks up a 5-second penalty as well. So the stewards got the pencils sharpened at the minute. PLR Greg in the chat. Well done, Ben. Indeed, great start by Ben so far. He's really shown that extra pace that they had in race number 1. Now he's got 3 of that battle behind him. He's free to catch up to a Gornikov ahead, and he is definitely going to do that, given that a Gornikov, as we can see, is just ahead, and he is just on the back of Max Leonard. These two matching one another, pace for pace, corner for corner, apex for apex. So too the same story with the lead 3 and Rubio, Soldatov and Ritchie. There wasn't a Lambo in the top 3 in qualifying. There wasn't a Lambo in the top 3 at the start of race number 2. There's now 2 Lambos in the top 3 15 minutes in to race number 2, so they are definitely getting the job done. They do of course have the all-conquering PLR. They have been, safe to say, dominant. 15 cars separated by half a second in qualifying. and Crook and his teammate in stint 1 race 1 found himself with a 5-second lead halfway into the race, going into the pit stops, which is halfway in. So that is how dominant that Mercedes has been. You can see just absolutely destroying the difference between the Mercedes front bumper and the rear diffuser of that McLaren in the battle again. Those two are hubbing. Look at me, he gets so close to that sausage curve. That is how you need to do it. The battle in the background is Balawander and Klassen still going at it. These two McLarens very evenly matched for pace, quite clearly. You don't have to be an expert commentator to be able to surmise that one. Zupančič for the Slovakia Racing Esports team, their third car. Imagine how quick the first two are. 11th position, got Team Ballas just behind them. Polovchuk, the Ukrainian driver, chasing down his Eastern European neighbours here. We've got Goodway and Brown still within contention, although Goodway putting in some quick laps. And speaking of quick laps, 21st position has just set a 1 minute 40.5, which is the fastest race lap set over the 2 races so far. Absolutely incredible pace. It just goes to show you, pace right through the field. This competition, as I say, there's only 30 points separating the number of points you get for winning and finishing in 10th. It's so important to keep banging in those results. Still a long way to go. We're only just at the halfway mark of the season, but a 1 minute 40.5, so faster than the fastest lap we saw in race number 1. I did say it would get a bit quicker. We're already down to 21 degrees. There's no sun for the drivers to deal with out of turn number 1. So I'm going to go back to the battle between Klassen and Balawander, or maybe I'm going to look at Delfanti go side by side. Delfanti and Klassen side by side. Oh, the McLaren's down the outside. He's just about held it. He's put 2 wheels on the grass. David Hill could get a good look at this one in the BMW as well. He doesn't quite follow through. So more wing mirror exchanging between the drivers through one of the most dangerous parts of the corner. It does make for some epic replays. It also makes for some epic amounts of time in the garage, getting bits of carbon fibre ripped off the front of the car. Oh, and that is David Hill now going at Martin Plastis as well. So Plastis really coming under pressure since getting that overtake done. And Polovchuk is going to be right in the back of Zupančič there. Very well done to avoid contact. I imagine the reason we saw Zupančič a little bit lively on the way out of the corner there. He had his foot on the accelerator just that millisecond quicker when he saw how quickly the McLaren badge was rearing up on his rear view mirror there. Oh, and they all make it over that corner absolutely beautifully. And they're going to head down into the S's again. Absolute formation driving just as it is on the podium. Oh, he's having a look at the inside. That's almost contact between Soldatov and Ritchie. I think there might have been just the absolute minutest of touches there. Soldatov's car ever so slightly laterally moving as Jeffrey Ritchie closed in, but Ritchie looking very quick here indeed. He's 3/10 on average. 3/10. Oh, and that's a run wide there. He's going to have to be careful. You do not want to be picking up track limit penalties in this race. Even I had to hold my breath there as the two of them went through that corner there. Yeah, the cheetah really will cheat you out with more than just a quick lap if you get that one wrong, that is for sure. Max Leonard has been overtaken by Agornikov. Let's go back. Oh no, we've missed it by quite some way actually. So Agornikov ahead of Max Leonard. Well, maybe he did see that and I've just completely forgotten with everything that's going on. It's absolutely incredible stuff. Philippe Balawander and Eric Delfanti still chasing, and Rubio and Soldatov still the top two. Jeffrey, Ritchie, Thomas, Eng Racing looking to reaffirm their grip at the top of the tables. We've got James Williams in the chat. Well done, Ben, and the rest. S. Rubio, calm and with good lyrics. This is your race. Okay, so Omeramor, Santo, and okay, because you put the dot, it thinks you've put a link, so it's blocked it out. Calm and with good lyrics. This is your race. Good luck, Team Tyre. Somehow no contact on that, well, nothing registered. Wow! James watching in the chat, they were so close there. So close. How they didn't make contact, because they're absolute world-class drivers is why. Oh, he's gone for a big send. We talked about that being a place you could go for a send, and that's exactly where he's got a send. That could be classified as a push-to-pass manoeuvre. Another ice hockey player in our midst, but that was a big move, to say the least, there by Richie, heading down the mine shaft. Let's see just how close he got there. They get to the bottom of the mine shaft. Yep. And Salva and Rubia, Tire Sim Racing, say thank you very much to the teams behind that gap, now over double, 2.3 seconds. Richie now up to second position, Soldatov in third, Gornikov in fourth, ahead of Leon and Ben Crook still in sixth position, but only 1.3 down on the battling cars ahead, which means he will be the third man in a three-way battle. We all know how that ends. Balawander is still fending off a McLaren, another McLaren, sorry. This time it is Delfante, because Klassen, as we saw, dropped back after Delfante got past him. On in the background, it's Supancic and Polovchuk, who look like they're having a great little battle as well. Dave Goodway absolutely flying in the FRL Arrive and Drive Lamborghini. He's now 5 seconds up on Alan Brown, who's been hunted down by Nico Veldman. Definitely a top 10 contender. Still got the fastest lap of the race in 20th position. Now it's Leonardo Passoni, the Absolute Motorsport Aslith team, of course, up right at the sharp end of qualifying as well. 20th position, fastest lap of the race. Polovchuk getting close to Zupancic, side by side ahead with Martin Klassen. Oh, David Hill just runs ever so slightly deep then. Klassen fends him off once again. Balawander going to be coming under pressure from... increasing pressure from Delfante as there was. Ben Crook tear away up the road. Soldatov 6/10 behind Jeffrey Ritchie as they head in to turn number 1 to start lap number 14. You can see chasing up the hill, the gap 2.2 seconds, so they found a 10th back on in Rubia, but he could not have been more blessed in that start. Completely avoided everything, made his way through absolutely beautifully as other cars battled, and then the two behind have themselves a bit of contact, and that just stretches out that gap. So Soldatov still very much in that slipstream, so too Max Leonard, 1 point in fourth. Now back down to fifth with race 1 winner closing down very handily in the background. Times all over the board are quicker than race 1. Jeffrey Ritchie himself already quicker than he was in race 1 with a 1 minute 40.660. Gornikov 1 minute 40.8. Ben Crook 1 minute 40.627. So a quarter of a tenth of a second quicker than Jeffrey Ritchie's fastest lap. That is how closely matched they are for pace. And of course, Passoni with the fastest lap of the race, an almighty 1 minute 40.570. So somehow managed to find almost a tenth on the rest of the field. So closely matched for pace right through as Nico Veldman has got the move done on Alan Brown. Let's have a look at that. Audi versus BMW. And down into the S's then. Well held there by Brown on the inside line. Oh, just had a little bit of a wiggle. Moved over ever so slightly then. And fast forward racing. Fast forward themselves another position. No reverse order grid standards from this. 10th place does mean 10th place. No bonus in the next round. And Rubia, he is not looking the gift horse in the mouth. He is up at the front. 1 minute 40.8. His quickest lap, and he's just done a 1 minute 40.9, less than a tenth slower than his fastest lap of the race. That is the type of consistency you need to bring home the result. Soldatov consistently within half a second still of Ritchie with the Gornikov, and Max Leon now inviting Ben Crook to come in and get himself involved in what will soon enough be a podium battle. You would imagine Soldatov and Ritchie are going to hold themselves up ever so slightly, and maybe at 2.1 seconds up the road, and of course Ritchie with a 10-second penalty. But as we saw from race number 1, himself and his teammate have got some pretty decent pace, so 10-second penalty will be detrimental. But is it going to... oh well, actually, oh no, there's on the grid. There's a pit window open. Is that 25 minutes already? Wow. Okay, so we're going to see drivers start swapping because there's been 25 minutes of racing already, apparently. Somehow that happened. Balawander still in 7th. We can get Helican, thank you very much, as Delfante still looks to take that position. David Hill is ahead of Martin Klassen, so that's changed as well. So Panchik still ahead of Polovchuk. Dave Goodway not too far behind this battle as well. And Leonardo Pisoni all of a sudden up another 3 positions. So that is just a straight up triple overtake then, as Senatore in the background having a bit of a nightmare on those Lambo tyres. Sean Worley actually making up positions there as well. Matthew Feltham, the Audi that he's battling with, the Guerrilla Racing driver, into Sunset. Oh yeah, they both made that through absolutely beautifully. But yeah, the Guerrilla Racing Lambo a bit quicker than Feltham at the moment. Ooh, but yeah, it's one thing to be quick. You need to be quick and consistent. You can't be running off track that often. As we can see, Martin Klassen straight into the pits. Senatore into the pits. Mishimir Danovic into the pits as well. As we can see, he's carrying himself a little bit of damage there. Ruby confirmation he stayed out, and Rafael Malo already on his way back out. That's a decent pit stop. 1 minute 2.0. 1 minute 1.5 for Polovchuk, so taking that half-second advantage out of the pits. Every single bit counts in these races, you better believe it. Malio, and it's of course Yudzetsky that's come out for Team Balance. He's come right out on the back of Malo. In race 1, the quickest pit stop that we saw was 1 minute 1.2. The slowest minus penalty was 1 minute 5. Oh, and that is brave through Sunset on outlap tyres. Yehor Yudzetsky really giving it the beans out of the pits. Lucas Sapanchik comes in from the Porsche in 10th place. That puts David Hill up to 9th. Dave Goodway into the top 10. Ben Crook's right in position to have a good old look at Max Leonard's Lamborghini. As we can see there, I can see in the rear view mirror, but you guys can't because of the logo. Let me see if I can find a position where you can. Nope, now I'm just fumbling. There we go, we can see the Mercedes in the background there, and we should just about see a Gornikov as well in the foreground, just about appearing. In fact, no, let me fix this issue. Let's have a look. So there is race 1 winner there, coming up towards the top of the mine shaft, and ahead there is a Gornikov. McLaren, Lambo and Mercedes battling it out. If they can catch up quick enough to the drivers ahead, and that is a terrible angle, will be the podium positions that they're fighting for. But at the minute, in fact, Ritchie, he was keeping, Soldatov was keeping to within half a second. That gap, oh, and that is a forlorn McLaren there. I recognise the paint job, and it is Jaco van Eck, Jackie's racing team. I don't think there's any front splitter left on that car, unfortunately. So yeah, straight into the pits. I imagine they're getting the black and orange flag. Yep, the lights flashing every time they tap the brakes. So major problems with the car. Leonard, the only problem he's got 2 problems. He can't get past the Gornikov, and he's got Ben Crook closing him down. Jeffrey Ritchie has really found some pace there, and he's now closed that gap to 1.2 seconds up at the front. It's Alan Brown and Hitcham Duby for the Italian job. They come in from 13th position, started in 25th, the McLaren. One of the cars leading the way, second in the championship, of course. The sister car not racing today, but certainly the Italian job car that is here definitely getting the job done. Nateman comes in from 17th. Rafael Malo is going to retake a few positions here, to say the least. He's out for SRE Rocket Simsport. And Rubia 1.2 seconds ahead of Ritchie with 5 minutes left of the pit window. So 3 laps maximum the drivers are going to be able to do from this point. Can they get any final overtakes done before they come in, or are they going to be passing the baton on to their teammates in the current positions? Ben Crook certainly looking the most likely of the drivers at the top. So see, the Lamborghini looked like he was going to go in the pits, but jumped back out again. Soldatov comes in from 3rd. Ben Crook comes in from 6th position. There's Soldatov pulling in to his pits. Yevgeny Nateman is handed over the wheel to Milos Stamenkovic. He's on his way back out, as we saw Soldatov and Crook in the pits, and Rubia has stayed out. Ritchie has stayed out, and he has stayed out for a good reason. 0.6 of a second now separate him from the race lead. As it stands, the 10-second penalty is going to bring him back out, I believe, in 4th or 5th position. So definitely well in the hunt for a podium position in this race, if not a potential race win. We'll see how the Mercedes gets on when that gets back out. There is a Gornikov handed over to Anufriev. They're out of the pits. Ben Crook is handed over to Viel Sinkinen. Sinkinen comes back out. It says 11th. I think he's going to lose another couple of positions. Oh no, it is 11th. Obviously a couple of positions will be gained when more drivers come into the pits, to say the least. There is Bailey Thompson out for Fast Forward Racing. Pisoni is in for Absolute Motorsport, fastest car on the track. Lewis Robinson is out for the FRL BMW. Madui is out for the Italian job, so making his debut in the series. Quite the way to do so. Bjorn Dale for Guerrilla Racing find themselves at the minute in 23rd position. So a lot to do as Rubia comes into the pits, followed by Del Fante. Jeffrey Ritchie stays out and of course takes the lead of the race. He's got a 4-second gap back to Gornikov, which is a good marker, as it was a Gornikov he most recently overtook to get himself up in a second. There's Hill and Goodway both coming in to the pits. So both Davids into their pit boxes. Anufriev catching up to Derek Brough, who still has to come in and take his pits. 2 minutes left in the pit window, so could conceivably do another lap, but it will have to be a very, very, very quick one. Not if he decides to come in. Yeah, I would say that is probably the best bet. Leonard then is up into 3rd with the pit stops working their way out. Danny Santo car came in from the lead and he's been overtaken. The lead of the race has been handed to Vasily Anufriev and the VDES car. The McLaren has overtaken the Tire Sim Racing car that was in the lead of the race when they came into the pits. Delia is back out of the pits, closing in, so it's all about where Jeffrey Ritchie now. He's got a 10-second penalty, but he's lost a bit of time to Gornikov through those final few sectors. Was going past the car. 1 minute 20 left of the pit window, so he is in now. Gornikov's coming in, so too is Max Leonard, and Philippe Balawander of the Petrol Aficionados is going to find his way into the pits on this lap as well, of course. Classens for Rocket Simsport, 17th position they're in at the minute. Bailey Thompson looking to make an overtake and getting the overtake done on the exit to Sunset. You need 2 very compliant drivers and 2 very talented drivers to make that overtake work, and they did. There's Balawander moving to his box. Ritchie we'll be handing over to De Campo, of course. A Heron in the chat, great stint, Ben. Indeed it was. Indeed it was, made up the places and was putting pressure on the positions in front. There is James Williams out for his stint in the FRL. Sorry, Rock Cops out for Fun Sim Racing as well. I know there's been a lot of teams barely mentioned in race number 2 because of all the action that we've seen up at the front, but it's been absolute thick and fast there as Matteo De Campo is exiting the pits, and he's just ahead of Ben Crook's teammate. Oh, and they're going to be battling for position then. Veal sinking in. I thought De Campo would come back out someplace in 5th or 6th. He's come out in 5th place with race 1 winner right ahead of him. So De Santo then in 2nd place with Rakhmatov, the VDS junior car, in 3rd position. So he's sandwiched by the VDS team. Remy Loesch in 4th place for the Panda Esport. Then of course it is De Campo and Sinkinen, 5th and 6th position. Carlo Delia, the driver behind them. Rafael Malo in 8th position. Subhan Chowdhury out for the petrol aficionados in 9th, and it is Yehor Yudzetsky as we see in 10th position, down into the S's himself. He is chasing Chowdhury at the minute. Malo ahead of him, going to get to the mineshaft well before them. De Santos closed right in on Anya Friev again. Rakhmatov going to get a good view at this one, and that is a good turn by them both, sinking in all over the back of De Campo. This is going to be an interesting battle to the end of the race, to say the least. Yudzetsky really giving Chowdhury some thought there. Chowdhury really opening up the corner, cost himself a lot of momentum through there. Yudzetsky, I'm sure he'll be confident now we're getting an overtake done sooner rather than later. Just needs to keep this one nice and neat. Yeah, I would have stayed in the slipstream all the way through that corner phase, although again, look how much closer he's getting through that corner. Flashing the lights there, feels Chowdhury was a bit slow on that corner exit. Vasily Anyufriev, he's going to need to be consistently quick on his corner exits. He's got a good run on De Santo to get that overtake done and get the lead of the race, but De Santo not letting go at all. Then Rakhmatov still in the background as well. Remy Loesch in 4th, De Campo still 5th, Sinkinen still hanging on there in 6th position, and I don't know which battle it was. Let's keep an eye on De Campo and Sinkinen. Sinkinen, the driver that took pole position and garnered a 5-second lead in his stint in race number 1, so we know he's got pace. And Matteo De Campo is the driver that overturned the 15-second penalty to go from 11th to 4th in race number 1. So just absolutely inseparable world-class pace between these two drivers, and it's going to take an absolute world-class effort to get an overtake done. They could well find themselves catching up to the drivers ahead, and that brings a whole new dynamic into it. And of course Carlo Delia not far behind there, as we can see. Again, absolutely no slouch, and Yudzetsky is past Chowdhury. Chowdhury looking for the cutback. He's going to try and go around the outside there. Doesn't quite have the momentum. Open the corner up nicely though as a backup plan. The lead McLaren of these two does hang on to the position though. Down past the pit entrance once again, and in the background actually Blaise Majan, who of course showed some very good pace in race number 1, just unfortunate in the wrong place at the wrong time and got a penalty as well, right on the back of Chowdhury as well, and of course squealing along that start finish straight, trying to catch up to the McLaren ahead. Going to think about it into turn 1 potentially. Definitely having a look along this top straight once they get up through this twisty section. Those little off-camber parts of the track really can throw the car off. Let's get back on with Sinkinen and De Campo. They're still battling away, and Danny Santo still in no way giving up on Anu. 3 of them. We've got 21 minutes to go still. Hopefully we can get the race extended by another 40 minutes. Really put the drivers to the test and see who can hang, because this is incredible stuff. Robinson on Medui at the minute. He's ahead of Cooley as well in 16th position. Class is still 17th with Playsters 19th, just ahead of James Williams, who is now being pressed by the fastest car on the race. It's Simone Massimi for Absolute Asalith. Ferrari versus Ferrari. Finally, at some point in the race, Massimi running very quickly at the moment. It's Williams for position over the head though. Sinking in, still looking to find a way past, so too is Santo. The three lead cars all in the same shot. Thompson still hanging on the back of Chowdhury as he's trying to get an overtake done there. We've seen the pace that Thompson had in race 1, and in fact he's got that overtake done. Oh, and Chowdhury had himself a bit of a problem going into the mineshaft, and the mineshaft exit certainly. And at the bottom there is easy pickings for Bailey Thompson. That is another position and a few more points safely in the bag. That's been a good race night tonight, says Alan Brown. Well done to everyone who raced tonight. I enjoyed it, yep. And yeah, it's been some good. It was a good battle between the two FRL cars, right down to the end, yourself and Osorio. That was a phenomenal battle right to the end. We're getting one up at the front here still, as we can see. Santos still coming onto pressure. Look how close that McLaren is getting in that rear view mirror, just above the centre console there. He's got headlights of a McLaren in his rear view mirror, and the tail lights of a McLaren right in front of him as he is chasing for the lead while fending off third place's attempt to take second. All the while Veal Sinkinen and Matteo De Campo, two of the fastest drivers in race 1, see themselves battling over 6th position and bringing Carlo Delia, the ITJ Setups car that took second in race 1, right back into the battle with him. So it's going to be the McLaren sandwiched by the McLarens very, very shortly. Remy Loesch doing some very good running as well. Max Leonard and him and himself and his teammate. Oh, they're side by side. It looks like Danny Santo might be about to lose second, and he has indeed on the exit to turn number 1. The Lamborghini found wanting, the McLaren found up the inside line. And let's just have a look at this one. Rakhmatov. So into turn number 1 he was chased. There wasn't a bad exit from the last corner either. Oh, there we go. Snap oversteer. The back of the Lamborghini trying to kill the driver there, and the McLaren managing to avoid the contact and get himself up the inside. So just a bit of extra steering input required there to keep the car going in the right direction there. Santo finds himself into third position. The two McLarens now firing off into the distance. Sinkinen still all over the back of De Campo. Absolutely cannot shake him off. Carlo Delia well in the hunt. Can Rafael Malo close up some of this distance? He's 8 seconds down at the moment. With Ihor Yuzeski just behind him. Blaze Mason rounding out the top 10 at the minute. Jason Pooley for SRE Simply Race Esports 16th place at the minute. Massimi did get the overtake done on Williams. Williams still in 20th place there with Stamenkovic behind him. Rock Cops in 22nd and Bjorn Dale 23rd place. It's Barry Gibbons, in 24th place, and Kari Matti Naikinen out for the Jackies Racing Team with the seriously damaged McLaren, although that might just be a graphical glitch. Sometimes when the cars get repaired, the repair doesn't actually show on screen. So yeah, hopefully they've got that repaired, because that is a lot of damage to be carrying. 1 minute 42s. So might be. Here we go then, 15 minutes. There was a yellow flag. Stamenkovic off track. late in the race, but I'm going to stay with Sinkinen for the moment. Yeah, 15 minutes left, race at number 2 from round number 4 of the FRL Super Sprint to the grand final. Spa, Imola and Mount Panorama already in the rear view mirror. This has been Kyalami. Haha. And remember, you can go back and watch them all on YouTube as well. We've got Silverstone, Valencia and Nürburgring all still to come. Absolutely incredible tracks for overtaking action. Of course, Valencia, the newest addition to ACC, so that promises to really throw the cat amongst the pigeons as far as the results go. And it is, of course, places in the VCO SimGrid Grand Finals that the drivers and teams are vying for. 5 automatic places in the final, 3 in a GT3, 2 in a GT4 car, and 6th, 7th and 8th go into that October playoff, where the top 3 teams from that playoff will find themselves in the final in a GT3 car as well. So just over 50 of the world's finest will make it to the final and compete for that champion's crown. And if the racing here is anything to go by, well, yes, this competition promises to be an absolute world beater. As you can see, these drivers putting in some absolute otherworldly performances to get themselves some race wins here. Anu Friev and Rakhmatov still leading the way with Danny Santos still very much in contention. Remy Loesch got 1.9 seconds to make up in 13 minutes, and he is just slightly quicker than Santos, so Santos really needs to keep about his business. Sinkinen and De Campo still very much driving in sync at the moment. Delia not quite able to keep up with them at the moment, and has lost 2.7 seconds. Oh, and he's just got himself the Lamborghini. That's the Tyre Sim Racing car. What's going on with Santo? Santo has suddenly dropped it. He was in 3rd position, he's now in 7th. And there we go, that just goes to show you how much Cheetah will cheat you out of. And that is a podium up in smoke. Danny Santo for Tyre Sim Racing. Started up on the front, and just that one touch of that sausage curve. It is, I've said this, it is one of the most dangerous sausage curves in the entirety of ACC, and that is how detrimental it can be. 7th position, which means Remy Loesch for Panda Esports find themselves in 3rd place. Mateo De Campo 2.5 seconds down with Sinkinen. Still very much in sync in 5th position. He has taken the fastest lap of the race, and it is a gargantuan difference between the 2 fastest laps of the race. 0.07, 7 thousandths of a second quicker, with a 1 minute 40.562. Sorry, 8 thousandths of a second. 1 minute 40.562 compared to Massimi's 1 minute 40.570. But as I did say, the laps would get a bit quicker in this race than they were in race number 1. And Rakhmatov and Anu Friev, are they now free to battle for the overall race win? Or will we see team orders potentially come into play here? Is Anu Friev in 1st, Rakhmatov in 2nd. They were formation driving, well, they had the driver very close in 3rd, Remy Loesch. Now that 2.9 seconds down, maybe we'll see who goes for the win. Bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush, but that is not the spirit that most racing drivers embody. That is why they're racing drivers. They're up at the front, they're in the McLarens. They've got 11 minutes to bring it home. They've got 2 tenths separating them from each other, and 2.7 seconds separating them from 3rd. Do they engage? Do they just try and bring it home? They'll know. They'll see that on their telemetry tower and the timing tower as well. De Campo and Sinkinen right on top of one another as well, so they will have pace, but it won't quite be their normal pace given how close they are, doing a bit of nip and tuck defending, looking for those openings. Chowdhury trying to get past Osorio, who's got the one up on this one. He's going to finish ahead of Robinson in the BMW as well. Ben Crooks in the chat. Ben Crooks, phenomenal stints. Great drive by yourself and your teammate. It's been apologies for the lack of camera time in race number 1, but that was a phenomenal gap that you guys had made up at the front there. So yeah, apologise for not a lot of camera time. There's been a fair bit this one though. Veal really in the hunt. Oh, Rock Corp's picking up a penalty late in the race as we see another car just popping out the pits. Chowdhury still trying to get past Osorio. I owe it all to Veal. His stint was perfect. His stint was to be, yeah, absolutely. Started in the front, bring up a 5-second gap. Absolutely flawless performance out of the front. Your stint not too bad either, to be fair. You managed to bring it home. Veal kind of stuck now. He is indeed. I did say this could be the big sticking point for these two of the fastest drivers on the track from race number 1, as we saw on those timing boards, and they are now in 4th and 5th position. Of course, Santo gifting them that extra position each when he made that mistake clipping that sausage curve. And Friev Rakhmetov still very close at the front. Remy Loesch getting a bit closer, but so too are De Campo and Sinkeren. I messed up the pit stop here. The pit crew somehow dropped the car. Okay. Yeah, the pit crew, I'm terrible at pit stops. I've got mine set to as automatic can be. Very little manual input on my pit stops. I would rather just lose the 5 seconds, but that's not the amount of time that you guys can afford to lose. At least I gave him fuel, unlike I did with you, Ahern. Okay, so Ahern's a teammate. I did kind of think he was maybe a teammate as well, so right, okay. There we go, I'm the pit stop king. But yeah, that is an interesting one. I know two friends of mine were doing an endurance race, and one of them, he started the race and his wheel had no force feedback. It was at the Nordschleife, so he had to come straight back in via the other pit entrance and fix his and put my other friend straight back out on track again. I had to do another 6 or 7 laps of the Nordschleife. Fun times. So yeah, definitely very easy to make mistakes during the pit stop phase, and yeah, it can really be a deciding factor in races as well. The 10-second penalty this time, if that hadn't, if De Campo didn't have that 10-second penalty, he would have come out a bit further. Dan sinking in and maybe not having to go full defend in the closing stages. Can he craft his way and overtake? Can he get caught back up to Loesch and somehow get him involved in the battle? Bailey Thompson looking to crack back into the top 10 at the expense of Blaise Mazin, the Slovakia Racing Esport third car, currently in that 10th spot. Chowdhury is unable to find a way past Osorio, now a 9/10 gap there, Playster trying to find his way past Claessens. Right, there's been some kind of issue there because that's a different car. Oh, that's beyond Claessens. And Martin Klaassen. There we go, 2 different Claessens in the race, but both of them in a McLaren, obviously. His teammate Rafael Malo is there in 8th position. Trying to close in. In fact, you can see Danny Santo ahead of him, so there's more positions that could change in the closing stages. Anufriev and Rakhmetov. Loesch lost a 10th of them there, Sinkeren losing maybe a 10th or 2, but really at this point it's going to be very difficult to craft an overtake. Just wait and see if you can force a mistake, wait on a mistake potentially. 18 degrees, so the track temperature is tumbling down as well. It started at 21, down 3 degrees, and 2 of those in this stint for the drivers. They've got 5 minutes left to get their orders in, their affairs in order. How do you get that one? Well, Jackie's racing in 25th at the minute with BG in 24th. FRL, I've got James Williams in 23rd with Milos Stamenkovic. Simply Race Esports 22nd position, just behind Rock Cops with a 15-second penalty. That's Massimi for Absolute Motorsport, one of the quickest cars of the evening. Find themselves in 19th position with Playster for MMS in 18th. It is Beyond Class Ins in 17th with Jason Pooley for SRE in 16th place. Medui in the Italian job. Started this race in 25th, now in 15th, but they're coming under increasing pressure from Pooley in the closing stages. Lewis Robinson, the FRL BMW in 14th with Chowdhury for the Petrol Aficionados in 13th, and another car looking for a late overtake. He's got Sergio Osorio, the FRL Arrive and Drive Lamborghini. Ooh, almost losing the position there. Thompson and Mason, 11th and 12th as I mentioned. Ihor Yudzetsky, Team Ballas in 9th. Malo in 8th for SRE of Rocket Sim Sport. Danny Santo in 7th and Carlo Delia in 6th position. Then it is the Sinkinen de Campo Loesch equation. Loesch in the lead of these two by less than 9/10 of a second, so they've not only been closed in on by the drivers behind. He's lost a couple of tenths to the drivers ahead, who absolutely have not skipped a beat. Rakhmetov and Anu 3F still separated by nothing more than half a second. 4 minutes, 3 laps, 2 laps, 3 laps potentially to go. Of course, we saw in race 1 Crooks crossed the line with 1 second left to go, which made for quite the grandstand finish with another couple of the drivers who I'm sure were cursing that extra final lap. Ben Crooks, I feel a P3 battle coming on the last lap. Ben, I think that feeling is definitely on the cards. I would say it's you're hard pushed a bit against that one, as we can see De Campo closing right in on Remy Loesch and Anu Friev as well in the foreground there, still hanging on to Rakhmetov. Does he? I mean, at the minute he's going to be pretty safe there in second. It's going to be one thing for De Campo to get past Loesch, but to then get on to Anu Friev as well. It's a 2-second deficit to make up in 3 minutes after getting an overtake done. Sinkinen sitting pretty in the background, still with the fastest lap with a 1 minute 40.562. Delia as well, actually, he's just done a 1 minute 40.7. His quickest lap of the race, 1 minute 40.5. 1 minute 40.6, sorry, 1 minute 40.662, so exactly 1/10 slower than Sinkinen's fastest lap. So it just goes to show you how fast these how closely matched for pace these drivers are over a single lap. But heading down the mineshaft, 7 PM, getting very dark now. The drivers got those headlights on so they can see where they're going. Anu Friev can see the lead of the race, but clearly don't want to do anything too crazy. They've still got some traffic to make their way through as well. Can maybe use that to your advantage. Bailey Thompson trying to find any advantage he can still. Robinson and Pooley, have they changed positions? Oh, it's a 3-way battle then, and it's Medai who has been battling with Pooley. Brought Robinson firmly into that battle and has brought Robinson up a position. Oh, in fact, okay, it's maybe the other way around. Maybe Pooley's been brought into this one because the two ahead of with an issue. Let's have a look into turn 1, because that is Chowdhury, right? Okay, so yeah, something has happened here. Into turn number 1, the BMW goes round the outside. He's got the position. The McLaren is on the inside line. The chase up the hill. Oh, there's a bit of a touch there, and then and that is actually what brought that battle into position. So yeah, Lewis Robinson was ahead of the BMW and the McLaren. He got spun up through turn number 4 and heading into Sunset. That is Ben Crook. There's been a murder, giving it the full taggart. Oh, and into Sunset. How close is this? How much fun is it going side by side through Sunset? Said no driver ever. On the exit there, it is the BMW of Robinson that hangs on to that position at the minute, and hanging on to positions is Remy Loos. And is he going to hang on to it for the entirety of this lap? It is the last lap. It is Timur Rakhmatov who's leading the way. Vasily Anyufriev in second. Remy Loos in third. Matej de Campo in fourth. Sinkinen in fifth position. And Delia in sixth place. Let's see. Oh, he's got it done, and I've missed that. While we're doing the run through, he's got that done. So let's jump on board with de Campo and see how he's got it done. No podium in race number 1, getting a podium in race number 2, definitely on the cards. That's not the checkered flag already. Please tell me I've not missed the winner crossing the line. I might have missed the winner crossing the line, I do apologise, but let's have a look at this overtake, because this is for the final podium position, and this has real implications in the championship standing. Round the outside, look at the McLaren on the brakes. And he manages to hold. Oh no, he doesn't. So he doesn't get it done there. Down the mine shaft. Oh, they're going to be side by side at the bottom of the mine shaft. So it's right at the bottom of the mine shaft. He gets his job done. If we saw the good brakes here at the top of the mine shaft, at the bottom, it's going to be interesting as well. Fully on there. Tries to go up the inside. A little bit of contact on the way through. But that is how de Campo got himself back up, and we did miss the winner cross the line. I cannot apologise enough. I'm so getting sacked as a broadcaster. Rakhmatov does take the race win, though. His teammate Anyufriev in second, with de Campo rounding out the podium. Remy Loos finishing in fourth, with race 1 winner Sinkinen, the PLR Esports team, finishing in fifth place. A great round overall for them. Delia for ITGH Setups in 6th place. Santo in 7th, Malo in 8th, Yudzewski in 9th, and Thompson rounding out the top 10. Osorio once again the lead FRL car, the Arrive and Drive Lamborghini, finishing 2 positions ahead of Robinson in the BMW. Robinson did fend off fellow BMW driving Pooley at the end. So great battle between all concerned, and that is, again, apologies to we missed the winner crossing the line, but there they are doing some fair spinning, bro. The battle for P3. Indeed, there's been battles right through. We obviously cover as many as we can, but yeah, we've got a good replay of the battle for P3 there as well, which was nice. But Rakhmatov bringing home the checkered flag. Anyufriev in second. De Campo coming across the line there in third place. Woo! That is a bit loud, my apologies, but that is, yeah. What a pair of races we have had this evening. 2 absolutely incredible races over at the Kyalami track. And yeah, some teams breaking in to the monopoly we were starting to see up at the top, as George mentioned at the start. Only 5 teams have been on to the podium in the opening 3 rounds, and only 2 teams have taken pole position in the opening 3 rounds. That now firmly a thing of the past. So that was round number 4, races 7 and 8 of the series. Better save your voice for Thursday, mate. I mean, yeah, we say Thursday, but I've got commentary tomorrow morning, tomorrow night, Thursday night, Saturday morning, Saturday night, Saturday, yeah, pretty much every day of the week. So yeah, all good. But yeah, that was, of course, Kyalami. We've had Spa-Inland, Bathurst, Mount Panorama, Silverstone, Valencia, and the Nürburgring still to come. Thank you to everyone in the chat. Thank you to everyone that gave FRL follows this evening. I know the notifications were popping up. I wasn't getting a full feed of that, but thank you to everyone that has. Remember, many platforms for ACC FRL. Well, 2. PlayStation 5 and PC. They've got a multitude of channels on Twitch, so jump onto their Discord and make sure you give them all a follow. And of course, that free subscribe on YouTube goes a long way. So jump on there, and the back catalogue of races can all be watched. I guarantee you, as I've said before, going back to watch this series, the races so far, absolutely not a waste of your time. Definitely make sure you get yourself on the YouTube channel and have yourself a watch. It is the FRL Super Sprint to the Grand Finals. Of course, the 3-round endurance event taking place in November and December. 5 automatic places, 5 guaranteed places in the final 3 in the playoffs, and we've still got 6 races to go. Absolutely. Don't ask John about his schedule. Sure, yeah, fair enough. I heard that's a fair point, well mate. Thanks for the commentary and good night. Wet Laguna, so it will be spicy. Yes, it will at RTO. Wet race 1, dry race 2. That is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Great comms always. Thank you very much. Miss some Laguna Seca, indeed. It's a good track. I will leave you with the highlights from race number 2. Myself and the Raven Comms team. It's a great pleasure to be presenting and broadcasting right across the FRL network. And of course, 2 tiers were shown on the FRL PS5 TV1 and TV2 on Twitch. Tackle Tuesday, tier 1 and 2, so go over and have that a watch as well. Nothing but phenomenal action there. 90 drivers a week turning up for that one as well, so make sure you give that a watch. But yeah, that is all from me this evening. I will leave you with the highlights, and I will be back same time next week with 2 hours of Silverstone. So until then, stay safe, take it easy, and have a great rest of your night. Good night.